Hey everyone, welcome back to another Inner Sleuths live stream. We're doing PaxCast Season 1, Episode 8 today with a ton of information to go over. We got a roadmap, we got part 2 of the making of the game, all kinds of stuff. There's an interview with the devs coming later over on Dane's channel. I'm going to try and cover that the same way I did last time. Hopefully he doesn't mind. But thanks Lee Bob for letting me know chat's working. Yeah, I always like to make sure at the beginning to make sure it pops up on screen and all that while I do my pre-stream checks. A lot of interesting and exciting stuff. I've never been more excited for this game than I have right now after seeing that roadmap. I would have liked to have seen dates on the roadmap. That's one thing. We're going to get to the roadmap after we go through the road ahead, the game we're making part 2. If you have not seen part 1, check out my previous PAX casts. Hey Jason, great to see you in chat. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to be covering all kinds of stuff today with these updates coming out right before the game goes live to early access tomorrow, the 18th at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time in America. Let's get right into this then. We have the road ahead, the game we're making part 2. Try and get this lined up here. That looks pretty good right there. These screenshots that they put in here, I don't know where they got them from, but they look amazing. I just wish that one day, or I hope one day, we can have a village that looks as nice and fleshed out as this with roads going through them. They did talk about in the last not devlog, in the last interview that they did, they talked about wanting to bring more road materials as opposed to needing to put like foundations down and stuff. So that'll be really nice. I'm excited to see how the building is going to flesh out over the years to come, maybe even just months to come. We're going to, once we get into that roadmap, we'll see what they got on there. I'm sure a lot of you have already seen the roadmap and read through this and stuff, but we're going to go through it together. We're going to show all the new players who are on the fence about getting into PAX Day just what it has to offer and the potential that it has. As always, we're going to do a little bit of theory craft along the way, but let's jump right into it. They start off by saying, hey, Paxians, here's the second part of our vision for PAX Day. The first part talks about the high-level vision and genre of PAX Day, a social sandbox MMO, if you had any doubts. That's one of the biggest features of the game, right, is going to be that social sandbox MMO. I've never, at first when I started reading about PAX Day and stuff and I got into it, I was like, it's another MMO, right? It's a survival game. It's, but they have squashed every single, I don't want to say expectation, it's not really the good word. They've squashed every little box that I tried to put it in. I tried to put it in, oh, it's a survival game like Conan. Nope, they squashed it. I thought, oh, you can play the game by yourself and just do your own business. And you can, for sure, you can play it by yourself. But the social sandbox MMO part is what really gets me excited about this. I think this is going to be something unique all on its own. It's not going to be like anything. It's going to have aspects where you can say, oh, this kind of feels like this from this game, or, that from that game. But it's going to be unique all on its own. Now let's look at the road ahead. As indicated, early access will last at least until June 2025. The game will change heavily in this time frame as we continue building towards our vision. So again, for people who don't know and are thinking about getting into PAX Day, there's 3 packages you can get. They go up in price, they go up in what you get. You get exclusive crafting recipes and all that. That's all fine and dandy. It's an early access game. It's not a complete product. Only you can justify if the price that it is worth what you're going to be getting. The way I value early access games is, right now, is there enough for me to enjoy and justify the cost? And for PAX Day, for me personally, I say yes, 100%. There is enough there for us to have a blast. Even if they stopped right now working on it, it would be worth the price that I paid for it in order to play what we have. That being said, as an individual, you're the only person who can determine which package you're going to be getting. I know I'm talking to a lot of people who already have packages and such, so take that with a grain of salt. You guys already have it. We're already past that. But the new people who are thinking of getting into PAX Day, there's 3 packages. Look them over. Find out which one works best for you. If you decide to play, you're more than welcome to join Blood Brothers. We are growing our ranks every day. All kinds of information on my Discord on how to join the Order of the Blood Brothers. But we are going to have access until at least June 2025. Without having to pay any form of subscription and stuff. So I'm sure we'll find out what these subscriptions are going to cost as time goes on, but at least until June 2025, they say. We know where we want to go and how, but we also know that our plans will have to stay dynamic and will change to adjust the reality of the feedback our founders will provide. And that's one of the other things that really gets me hopeful for PAX Day. They're going to be listening to the founders. I mean, they already have been. We submitted all kinds of not just bug reports, but suggestions and stuff. And it sounds like they're really taking those suggestions to heart. In the last alpha, the Wilderness Alpha that I was in, I submitted every issue I had. I reached out every way I could to make sure that my voice was heard because I talked to a lot of people and they all had the same concerns about, the crafting pitfalls and the combat and things like that. And so they're really, really listening. Lee Bob says, does the cost of the package offset the purchase on release? I'm sure it would. Jason says, yeah, I'd think so. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure I've read somewhere and heard the devs say that when the game comes out of early access, everybody will have to purchase the game, and then you will pay a subscription fee. So it's like World of Warcraft. A new expansion comes out, you buy the expansion, then you pay your subscription fee to have access to it. As opposed to like a game like Guild Wars where you purchase the expansion or the game and then they have an optional subscription and you get a little extra bonus stuff with that. So purchasing a founder's package now gets you the game, it gets you your character slots, it gets you your plots, and it gets you all of the exclusive crafting recipes. You're not going to lose any of that when the game leaves early access. So if you purchase now, and the price will probably go up to a $60 base minimum for the game, something around there like AAA title costs. So it's probably worth it to get into it now, enjoy the early access, help craft the game. But again, I'm not trying to sell anyone on it, right? That only you as an individual can determine if it's going to be worth it for you for what you get. I say 100%. We're going to have a ton of fun coming up with all kinds of role play events and things like that for us to just have fun and PvP and PvE and go in dungeons and collect materials and craft and host events with other clans and things like that. It's going to be great. But it will offset the purchase of the initial game, I am fairly certain. So this document right here, they say, aims to give us a good idea of their priorities over the next few months. But please do not consider it carved in marble. So it's going to be a fluid system, probably a lot like Star Citizens, where they're going to have a roadmap. That roadmap can change. They have things that they want to get in. Sometimes things get pushed back. Sometimes things get replaced or removed entirely as the vision changes. If enough people suggest things, maybe they'll start focusing on that more. There's no telling, but they're going to give us a basic idea and overview, and we're also going to look at that roadmap a little later. But they're going to give us a basic overview, but don't consider it carved in marble. That's one of the pitfalls of Star Citizen is people see stuff hit the like the roadmap. They have an online roadmap thing for Star Citizen, and people see something hit that and then like go on there and then they expect it to come out in like the next patch or something. Things get bumped, especially in development. Sometimes you need other features to come online in order to flesh out another feature. It's just how it is when you're developing a game in a live environment, right? So that being said, we have to curb our expectations just a little bit there. We got this beautiful picture of this lady overlooking this amazing looking village. Again, I hope we can build something like this for our clan, have a nice town square. So the next point they go on to talk about here is the homestead. As you've maybe seen in the playtest we've run so far, the village building, crafting, and resource loops are starting to work and feel nice. There's something magical about wandering around in nature in PAX Day and collecting the herbs and mushrooms in the forest, watching the sunset from a cliff, and discovering a little house hidden in the woods. Our system already supports many types of buildings, from little huts to gigantic castles, through mansions and factories, or mansions or factories. I am really looking forward to see what we can build. There was a bunch of people on the Discord talking about all the different things they've built in Conan and stuff like that. So we have a lot of, it seems like a lot of architecturally talented people in the clan who are going to help to build a great village for us. And they're not wrong. Wandering around in the nature in PAX Day, it's one of the most beautiful games I've ever seen. There's all kinds of things to discover, different little areas of beauty. But having little houses in the forests and then gigantic castles for cities and stuff like that all built next to each other. It's going to make the game and the world really feel alive, right? You're going out in the woods and you just find a hermit who's just living his best life, doing his own thing out in the woods. They go on to say then, so what's the future of this part of the game? We have plans for advanced features, but right now we're focusing on improving balance and skill progression, polishing the first hours. And they say, yes, pin a recipe is on that list. Because I know a lot of people are talking about they wanted to be able to pin recipes. It was a huge hot topic, so they said pin a recipe is on that list. And adding more depth to the crafting system. Jason says, do you know if you remove or destroy a building part or workbench, do you get the resources back? You do. I was worried about that at first because some of the, at least how it was in the alpha, you do. I was worried about that because I didn't want to remove some of my crafting benches or anything like that, or my workstations, because I was worried I wasn't going to get the materials back. Granted, how the crafting system works, right? You don't really hardly get anything if you fail. I tested it with a workbench and I got the materials back, and then I realized you get all of the materials back for the station in order to move it. I thought at first maybe it would pop it up as like an individual item, and some of them I think do. I think some crafted things like the chopping block, maybe maybe I'm wrong. I could be mistaken there. I think some of the items are actual game object items, but you get all of the materials back nevertheless, and then you can replace them down wherever you see fit. So I think we're going to have a town hall area where we have like a crafting room, where we have all the rooms broken up by what they're crafting inside of those rooms and things like that. We'll have, I know Panda P. Sherman, one of the other sleuths, he is going to be doing tailoring, I think, and he wants to make a tailoring shop called Mystical Threads or something. Threads of Fate, that's what it was. He wants to make a shop called Threads of Fate where people can come all from around the world to visit and buy and purchase and trade all kinds of cloths with him and stuff. Jason says, good, that would have sucked. Yeah, 100% I agree. And I don't think, even if that was like that now, I don't think it would have stayed like that because of everybody would have been complaining about it, right? They're trying to take feedback from everybody, it seems like, and help design the game around what everybody wants to see. You know, if there's a hot feature like pinning a recipe, they're taking that to heart and they're actually working on it, which is great to see. The first content update after early access launch will bring additional building pieces to complete some of the current sets. Among them, new walls adorned with grapevines, a great way to add some cachet to your buildings. I don't know what that, CACHET, whatever that means, to your buildings. We're also happy to confirm that prop signs are coming to label storage or specific areas of your village. They showed those off. We covered them in one of the earlier PaxCasts. There's a bunch of different signs with little symbols on them, and I'm assuming if you cursor over them, maybe they would have a tooltip or a customizable tooltip. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. Maybe it's just an icon. I'm not sure. But we saw a bunch of little signs that you could put on, I'm assuming anything that probably could be attached to anything, but my initial thought was those will go on chests. But they talk about all those little signs and grapevines and stuff coming so that we can label storage on specific areas of your village. Yeah, so they're not going to be just for chests and storage. You'll be able to put them on walls and stuff to mark rooms to make it easier for new players and clans to find their way around and know what goes where. Hey, Templar, how's it going? He says, crap, I missed the start. How's it going all? It's going great so far. We just started a little bit ago. You haven't missed too much. Probably can recap it here really quick. So we already know June 2025. They're talking about their plans and how they have a roadmap, but it's not going to be carved in marble. And then we just got onto Homestead, and they're talking about the magical views and nature and stuff and how they want to flesh out the crafting system. They're going to add pinned recipes and more depth to the crafting system, which I'm really looking forward to because the crafting system has some pitfalls right now. There feels like there's some missing pieces. So hopefully we see those get fleshed out. And then the really big thing that we just went over, the first big thing of note, is the first content update after early access launch will bring additional building pieces for the current sets so that we can we'll have grapevines, and we're going to have prop signs to label specific areas of the village. That is constantly one of the most requested features of that part of the game. So that's basically the first big piece of information that we got so far. We're also going to go over the roadmap after I get through this here, and then starting not that long, It's going to be, we'll do a short intermission and then we're going to bring up the interview with the devs on Dene's channel over on Twitch. Because I want to listen in on that. So hopefully he doesn't mind again. I just want to hear what the devs have to say. And I'll be commenting on it. So it should be covered by Creative Commons, I would hope. So let's see. That is Homestead. They talk about that bringing some new skill progression, balancing skill progression, bringing some new features and crafting materials and things like that, new pieces such as grapevines and the labels. And I assume there's going to be more than that. When I was looking over the roadmap, I think there's more under Homestead, but we'll get to that later. So that's the Homestead updates. Now we're on to Adventure. What is in this picture here? What am I seeing? That looks like you're deep down in a dungeon. It looks like 2 players maybe. There's a player in the foreground and to the right of them's another player, but what's in the background? That looks like some type of shirtless cultist or something down in a dungeon, and you can see their shadows. I'm so excited to see what these dungeons are going to bring. It's going to be a lot of fun. Adventure. Yes, the combat system needs work. They state that first and foremost. I don't think it's in an irredeemable place. I think the combat system obviously needs work. Everything can always be refined and made better, especially from an alpha. But it's not irredeemable. They just need to make it a little more fluid, because that's what always feels great about games like World of Warcraft and stuff like that. I always go back to these other MMOs, as reference my experiences. But when your character moves almost instantly and you have a lot of authority over what your character's doing, and you don't get locking in animations is one thing because you have to have consequences for your actions, but the engine's responsiveness and feel can go a long way to make combat feel good. Following players' feedback in Alpha 2, we've spent the last few weeks focusing on improving the character's responsiveness in combat. There we go, exactly what I'm talking about here. Lee Bob says, I'm wondering if the crafting materials will affect things like decay rate or maintenance on your structures. I want to say probably not. I don't think there's going to be decay, at least at first with the current vision. Unless something changes, I don't think that's going to be an issue, because again, we're paying for the upkeep on our plots. If you're paying real money, I don't think they're going to have a secondary system where your land is also decaying. That would seem a bit much for paying, because then you don't play for a couple months or something, but you're still paying to have your plot of land, and then all of a sudden you come back and your castle's destroyed. Unless they have something implemented where you can easily repair it or upkeep it and it just starts to look overgrown. I'm not too sure, but with us having to pay to maintain our plots with real money, I'm not too sure they're going to go the route of having it decay over time as well. I could be wrong. That's just my speculation, though. So they're talking about the responsiveness going to be improved for the combat. I'm really looking forward to seeing how that's going to be fleshed out. We don't think we're there just yet. Currently, our PvE is at a minimum functional baseline, and PvP is kind of fun, but definitely not where it needs to be for the game vision to come together. So they recognize PvE, it barely functions. It does what it's supposed to do. They need to have something where the animals reset or evade when they can't reach you, but you can reach them. In some situations, like you have a long pointy stick, I made a bunch of shorts on that. That kind of makes sense to be able to stab, but the animal wouldn't just stay there and get stabbed, right? It would run around and try to find a way up and do some other stuff like that. So the AI needs to be tweaked, and it's not just the combat system that needs tweaked. It's also the AI. And I fully think that they're going to work on that as well. They're not just going to leave that how it is and improve combat, right? And they say PvP is kind of fun, but it definitely is not where it needs to be for the game to come together. So they're going to be working on PvP and PvE combat. They're not just going to toss one to the side. So that's great to hear that both aspects of the game are going to get some love. The current PvP system is a test implementation and will be radically different moving forward. Overall, this part of the game will remain an ongoing priority for the foreseeable future. So for all the PvP buffs out there, we now have confirmation that the system is in just basically a test bed. And they kind of already told us that with the Lioness Zone being just a test bed so they can gather information and stats on stuff like that for PvP. So I'm really looking forward to see how I'm a fan of PvP in a lot of games. Has to be done right, though. The risk reward has to balance out in order to be able to produce a fun environment, because that's what it is at the end of the day, right? It's supposed to be fun. It's a game. We don't want to play a game for it to feel like work or be depressing when you just lose everything. So they need to balance the fun with the other systems. Has to feel good in the end. Our mission here is challenging. We've taken an action-oriented approach to combat and want the skill ceiling to be relatively high, which I can appreciate. I like when games have higher skill ceilings, but also your gear still matters. Having a higher skill ceiling means that the better players will still be able to perform better with the same equipment. If you have better equipment than them, their odds of beating you are going to change. They may still have the advantage because they're a better player, but your gear is not completely useless and it's not all focused on skill. Hopefully they have a nice blend here. As an RPG, we want gear and skill progression to offer depth and feel meaningful. Well, there we go. There's the answer to that. Finally, we're also an MMO. So the game needs to work for group combat in dungeons, all the way down to solo players hunting in the woods. That's going to be, it shouldn't be too hard to balance, because if you can get the combat model right and the AI right, I feel like both of those will mesh together at the same time. We're assuming each of these aspects we're assuming getting each of these aspects right and finding a goal or finding a good balance between them will take time. As the work related to fine-tuning responsiveness, animations, and NPC behaviors, well, there we go. There's the NPC behaviors talking about the AI, is inherently slow. So this process of getting these all refined is going to be a slow one. They have a whole year for early access to dial it in, at least a year. I have a feeling that it might be extended. This is a very big vision for a game. It's not a small game by any means. Their scope is quite large. So I would not be surprised, and don't quote me on that, but just thinking off the top of my head, I would not be surprised, because of all these systems they want to get in here, if this went past a year. Which again, I'm perfectly okay with, because as long as it's an early access, we're covered. We're helping them get data, and they're allowing us to have fun on their platform. We're basically paying them to be testers, but we also are getting something out of it, right? We're going to get enjoyment. Our plan here is to keep improving things with every patch and engage with all of you in our Discord so that we can figure this out together. So again, going back to that, they're taking information from what the fans, the players actually want to see, which is great. In addition to tuning the combat feel, we'll be adding more content, more weapons, armor, enemies, and spells. I really, really want to see the spells. I know Panda P. Sherman, he is really looking forward to seeing the spells, one of the other sleuths. He was talking about magic and stuff earlier. We were just having a little discussion about PAX Day. I'm looking forward to seeing more weapons and armor and enemies. Spells are cool for me if they're done right, so I hope that, the spells aren't overpowered or anything like that, because it's very easy to get carried away. But given the whole scope and vision of the game, I think it should feel right. I don't think the spells will be overpowered or anything like that. Templar says, let's just hope it's not Fun Pimps length. I 100% agree, yeah. I don't know if I can wait 10 plus years for a release. I don't think that's going to happen. This sounds like a much more, well, forgive me, Fun Pimps, but this sounds like a much more competent team of veterans in the industry coming from what was it? EVE Online. Yeah, they have several devs from EVE Online. They have a lot of experience between them, I think. And the fact that they've already set the goal for 1 year leads me to believe that they're fairly confident in what they can push out. I don't think they're just blowing smoke up our ass. I think they actually will be able to deliver around that time frame, because they have an idea of what it's going to take, right? Granted, any roadblocks could be a little bit of a setback, but I don't think it's going to take 10 plus years. When they're working on 7 Days to Die, it wasn't like they said, oh, they may have, I don't know. I mean, it's been a long, long time now. I can't really remember, but I don't think they said, oh, in 2 years, we'll have the game completely done. And then it turned into 10. I don't think that that's how it happened. So I think that they will be able to produce PAX Day into a coming out of early access phase. That doesn't mean they're not going to add more content after early access ends, right? Games normally do that. They'll have expansions and updates, and it's going to be a living service game. We're paying a subscription. They're going to be adding content and stuff. So it's going to be an ongoing development. Let's just hope that tomorrow on launch day, their live, what did they call it? They had like a live actions team or something like that. Let's just hope that they do as good of a job on launch for early access as they did for the alpha. I know it's probably going to be a lot more stressful for them because it's going to a wider audience of people, but we'll see how it pans out. So they talk about more weapons, armor, enemies, and spells. On the mechanics side, we're also focusing on combat flow from a tactical level, such as improvements for crowd control, role specialization, along with balancing special maneuvers and spells so they work both for PvE and PvP. Templar says, no, I honestly don't think they even set an end time. Are you talking about Fun Pimps there? So not only are we getting weapons, more weapons, armor, enemies, and spells, I love when there's just a ton of things to choose from. If they can, I've said this before on during my other streams and stuff, but if they can dial in the balance between those armors and weapons, it's going to have a wide variety of play styles. You're going to be able to equip, hopefully dual wielding. Maybe they'll do something along the lines of Guild Wars, where depending on which weapon you have in your main hand and your offhand, your abilities will change. If you have a shield or not, your abilities will change. So if you're using a one-handed sword with no shield, maybe they have some type of duelist stance where you get access to some other offensive abilities as opposed to using a shield for defensive. I would really like to see something like that. Templar said, I'm so ready. My alarm is set in a whole day and you'll have the whole day to play. Yeah, you were on about Fun Pimps. That's what I thought. Yeah. If I don't think they had a final set day. I still got to set my alarm. I'm going to be probably starting the stream about a half hour or so. Maybe we'll go out further. I don't know if we have stuff to talk about in the pre-party. I'm going to be downloading it probably while I'm streaming because I'm going to be starting the stream before it's even going to go live. We're going to do a little bit of a pre-party before I actually get in. We're going to transition. I don't know if it's going to be more of a PaxCast or if it's going to just be a regular live stream, because PaxCast is more of this informal, well, they're both informal, but sitting here on the main screen where you can see, the articles and stuff, and you got the background going, and it's not like an in-game. I'm not sure if maybe I'll set up something where I can just transition from PaxCast into live gameplay. But yeah, you always forget about the delay. It's not that long of a delay, but it is there. It's probably around 40 seconds or so after everything's all said and done, 20, 30, 40 seconds, something like that. But yeah, I'm going to be starting my stream early before the game actually goes live to have a little pre-party, chat with everyone, and figure out, what our game plan is going into this. I am going to settle in Tremen. I've decided that. So we're going to be on Danu, the RP server for US East, the province of Caries in Tremen. I want to set a foothold for Blood Brothers. The Order of the Blood Brothers needs to be in the populated zone. I need to stake out our land. I need to show that we are a force to be reckoned with, that we are going to be a big, prominent clan in the land. People will come to us for trade, for protection, for all kinds of things. We are going to cover it all. So if that sounds great to everybody listening, join the Discord, go over to the website, send in an application, get approved, and join the Order of the Blood Brothers. We're going to have an oath for everyone who's taking any form of rank. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of softcore RP features and things like that. So I'm going to be in Tremen. I'm not sure exactly where in Tremen. I'm probably just going to, I don't want to have a set place in mind, because if I go in and it's taken, it's like, oh shit, now I got to improvise. So I'm kind of just going to go in and find a good spot. I have a couple areas that I like, but I am going to be in Tremen for those reasons I previously stated. I want to make sure that the Order of the Blood Brothers is on the map, and we're going to be a big deal. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to recruit a lot of people are going to be wanting to join. We're going to have all kinds of different ranks and tradesmen and a whole village to work with. It's going to be really, really fun time. So again, if that sounds good, join our ranks. You know where to do it. Discord should be plastered all over the place. Join us, and we'd love to have you. So they talked about crowd control here. That was something that I talked about in the alpha. I found a way to have crowd control that was overpowered, and they recognize it, and I'm sure it's already fixed, but shield bash with a blunt weapon stun, you could basically kill in one stun lock. I'm not too sure what they're doing to balance that, but it gives me hope that all of the weapons and setups will be balanced. The fact that they are nerfing things that are overpowered and probably buffing things that are underpowered. Let's scroll down one little notch here. because there's this final excerpt for the adventure. Finally, we want to start unveiling the game's lore. It will be a progressive and iterative process, adding depth to the world through indirect storytelling. Who knows, mystical creatures might even start being sighted in remote corners of the world at some point, ... That's going to be amazing. These last two paragraphs, this is big stuff here. Special maneuvers getting balanced, role specializations, probably the Holy Trinity, your tank, your healer, your DPS, crowd control, improvements on the tactical level, more weapons, armor, enemies, spells, and now we're going to be getting, I still want to do, so much stuff came out, I didn't have enough time to cover it yet. They do have some lore on the site that I was going to go over with everybody and do a little more structured stream on it, or maybe even a video and not a stream. I like to live stream stuff though. I feel like it's a lot harder to do a live stream compared to videos. Videos just take more editing, so you're moving your work, your energy from being on the hotbed right up in the action. Like I don't rehearse these. I don't have a script. I do this all live and on the fly. So it's a little more difficult than I can correct my mistakes in a video. I can't really do that here. But I like to do things live because it's a lot more interactive. I get to actually interact with the community. I mean, we're pushing like 10, 15 people in chat who are listening. They get the information live and they have the option to interact with us, it just makes it feel more personal, But I'm going to be doing at some point lore videos on the game. I don't know if they're going to be part of PaxCast or if I'll come up with its own podcast and it's more of a structured audio reading, creepypasta style, use the creepypasta voice to read the different lore narratives and things like that. I'm not too sure yet. Let me know what you guys would like to see when it comes to lore videos. But we're going to have 3 forms of content for PAX Day. We're going to have gameplay, which will be live streamed. We'll have 4 technically, because we'll have shorts made from that gameplay, any fun, exciting things that happen. We're going to have PaxCast going over mostly news. PaxCast was originally designed to be mostly news. I may use it still for the Order of the Blood Brothers updates and stuff, so clan information as well I may use for that, and then something to do with lore. So stay tuned for finding out more about how that's gonna be panning out in the future. But this mystical creature information, I don't know what to do with that. That is going to be really, really cool. I think of this as being something along the lines of world bosses, maybe. But there's probably going to be mystical creatures that aren't just bosses purely. I mean, we already have ghosts, which are technically a kind of mystical entity. They're not really creatures, though. I'm really looking forward to seeing world bosses in a PvPvE environment. Clans fighting over the ability to take out bosses and stuff. Dungeons and things like that are going to be in remote areas that you need to have guards at the entrance, making sure other clans aren't coming up behind you to take you out and things like that. A lot of coordination, a lot of mercenary work, a lot of emergent gameplay there. But that's what they have to say for adventure. Let me know what you guys think about these mystical creatures and all of the changes that they're talking about for role specialization and balancing and weapons and armor. What kind of weapons and armor and enemies do you guys want to see? What type of spells do you want to see? What mechanics would you like to see come into the game? In terms of crowd control, what do you think would feel good for crowd control? I think some magic crowd control would be kind of cool, but it's going to have to be balanced, right? They're going to have to make sure that if you have frost spells that slow down enemies, you don't hit your friends. Friendly fire might be a thing. Not too sure. So what do you guys think about all of this information here in regards to adventure? And there is just an absolutely beautiful castle. It looks like this is a castle up on top, and then down below they have like the lower village. Maybe we can build something like that. We'll have a castle or a keep where we do all of our meetings and stuff, and like the grand hall for all of the high up ranks with a courtyard, and then leading down into the village where we have our town square and the different shops for sales and stuff like that, in our storehouse and things. What do you guys think about that type of build as well? Again, I want your guys' input on this stuff. I want to hear from the community in the chat. If you have any information on what you'd like to see brought into the game, throw it in chat. I'll read it and we'll talk about it. Civilization. This pillar is the part of the game where an active player community is critical to continued development meaningfully. Templar says, just fear the enemy. Oh, wait, this isn't WoW. Yeah, no fear chains, hopefully. That would be cool, actually, to have some type of fear. If they're going to have dark magic of sorts, what if they did have some way to strike fear into the hearts of your enemies? Maybe not animals, because they're more feral, but things that are humanoid in nature, maybe they could be feared, or, you could strike fear into them somehow to make them pause and, cower in fear or something for a short duration. I don't know. They could, there's so many things they could do. So civilization is where having a community, and they're not wrong. I'm talking about having this giant village and stuff. You need people to make that work, right? We're gonna have ranks, all kinds of ranks. I mean, if you guys missed the last stream, the last PaxCast, check it out. We talk about a lot of our ranks, but we're gonna need to have a huge permission system to work with the ranks to have this civilization. They say our goal is to eventually offer a choice of roles and systems, allowing a rich social fabric to emerge in all the shards. All of it will be player controlled and structured so that you can participate in the political intrigue of warfare as much as or as little as you want. So if you want to focus more on the political side of it, or you want to focus on warfare, again, we have those two branches currently. We have the diplomatic and we have the military branch of our ranks. So we have a system in place that's going to directly complement these two pillars of gameplay that they're wanting, that they're giving people the option to be able to focus on, being able to do politics or warfare. And they say as much or as little as you want. So again, it's going to come down to that PvP. They did say it was going to be an opt-in feature, so we'll see what that actually means going forward. Ultimately, players will be able to create social structures above and or across the clans to go to war. I like the dots there. They're putting the emphasis. They say the clans to go to war, ... or have eternal peace if they choose so. I'm glad to hear this. This is going to be awesome. Being able to declare war, I wonder what that means. I don't know where I heard this. I cannot remember. But what if in the Wildlands, that's where the PvP with the other clans is going to come in? If you're in the Heartlands, maybe PvP is disabled, because they did say no one's raiding your castle. I don't know if that's set in stone. I'm assuming not, because they said nothing's really set in stone. But if your castle is safe and there's no castle raiding or anything like that, I would assume that in the Wildlands then is where war would take place, aside from Lioness or any specifically dedicated PvP zone. But war is going to be cool, and peace will also be cool too. This is where alliances and having a very strong diplomatic branch. Maven, she was talking about how, she's really looking forward to being an ambassador and being in the diplomatic ranks. So having people who are able to bring other clans together for a common goal is going to be essential. You don't want to piss everybody off, Getting to that vision will happen one step at a time. In this area, we currently have a baseline player clans, but also, or almost no other features. So they have a baseline of player clans, but they don't have any of the other features really outlined yet. This part of the game will be one of our main focuses in the coming months. I hope that means permission systems and things like that. Maybe they'll mention it down below. But we basically can make clans, and I think you can have a party, and that's pretty much it. So one of their main focuses, which is really good to hear, is hopefully permission system coming down the pipeline. Templar says, oh, I could see that. So you could almost do a surprise attack in the Wildlands against your enemy. Yeah, if you're tracking this is where our emissaries and our shadow government, not shadow government, like, I don't know, like SI7. We have our sneaky department run by the emissary, because the emissary is going to be focusing on espionage and things like that. Very, very important roles. Probably going to be highly sought after. But getting information on the whereabouts of your enemies and stuff like that, and be able to report it through the chain of command so that the higher ups can determine if they're a threat, if we need to be a threat, if we need to defend our area, our territory, our resources, our people, our citizens, if we have contracts to protect people or caravans and things like that. It's going to be very emergent and exciting gameplay centered around that. But they're going to be focusing in the coming months about the clans and player interactions and stuff like that. Lee Bob says they desperately need different types of permissions. Yes, 100% agree. Without permissions, the whole system kind of falls apart. The entire ecosystem of the community-driven, player-driven aspect of the game kind of falls apart very, very quickly. So I fully think that they are going to be working on all kinds of permissions. Templar says thought that was on their roadmap. It very well may be. We're going to be getting to the roadmap once I finish this, and we'll check it out. So we'll keep that in mind. We'll see if it is on there. So they talk about that's going to be their main focus in the coming months. In PAX Day, almost everything is player made. I do notice that there's some bridges that are not player made to be able to cross some bodies of water. Those are probably there for the street sweeper going by. I don't know if you guys can hear that. I think that those bridges are solely there maybe for caravans and things like that, because unless a player built bridge would be there, there'd be no way to get across water. So I understand the necessity for map bridges, like ones that are just a part of the map. But everything is player made, whether creating coal for the blacksmiths, baking a cake, or crafting a piece of magic armor. Ooh, magic armor. Using the rarest of relics found in the bottom of the deepest dungeons. That's intriguing. Magic armor crafted from relics found in the deepest dungeons. I'm trying to think of what type of relics could be crafted. Maybe jewelry of sorts? But that's not necessarily armor. They say specifically crafting a piece of magic armor here. Relics. I could see rare ores being down there, harvested and turned into magic armor. I'm trying to think of what relics would be turned into magic armor. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that. Sounds pretty cool, though. I like finding rare stuff in dungeons. They go on to say that we're convinced that trade will completely shift the game's dynamics, making it easier for players to specialize and collaborate at scale. And that's honestly probably one of the biggest things I'm looking forward to, is having a clan so that I can specialize in what I want to specialize in, allowing you guys to specialize in what you want to specialize in. Trying to do it all yourself it was such a pain in the ass in the alpha. It's so hard to climb the skill, like the skill levels are so hard to obtain when you're failing the recipes and stuff like that, which again, they said they're going to be tweaking the crafting, so that may change a little bit, but I'm really, really, really looking forward to having a clan to be able to work and coordinate this stuff on and have everybody specializing in their own thing. So I don't have to worry about everything myself. It makes sense, right? If you're in a civilization, when you're in a village, if you're in a medieval, kingdom, you're not worrying about everything. The higher ups are worrying about coordinating everything. But in terms of you just being a citizen or a knight, you're specializing in something. A knight is not going to have to worry. A knight commander or a commander is not going to have to worry about all of the PvE combat and all of the PvP combat and this trade route and that trade route. Those higher ups are going to have to manage coordinating the lower ranks to distribute the responsibilities properly. But being able to focus on the part of the game that you want to play, I think, is really going to bring it all together. No matter what part of the game you want to focus on, there will always be things that you can produce that are useful to others. How will that materialize in game? Our team is working on bringing, and then they put in parentheses, back. So I guess gold was in the game, but they're bringing back gold into the game and introducing the first system allowing trading between players via a new item, the market stall. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. This 100% all the way. Let's go. I don't know how it's going to be implemented. Maybe they'll tell us in these. I like to talk about things as I read them, as opposed to reading through the whole article and then bringing it to you just as a blanket statement. I like to read through it and then comment on stuff. So sometimes when something like this comes up, I talk about it a little bit and then my questions get answered directly following what I'm talking about. But that's just the way I like to do things. It keeps it more natural and not just a scripted, I'm not just going to have a whole script that I'm reading to you guys and then turn off the stream and call it a day. It's a much more interactive experience with me, which I hope people appreciate. I was talking about having some type of market stalls and stuff for a while, and that's going to be a lot of fun. Being able to, so let's go back to Panda P. Sherman, one of the other sleuths. if he sets up his tailoring shop in the village and he sets up a stall within that, he can probably have gold directly deposited into his coffers, or however he wants to direct it. I'm just curious how things are going to be put up for sale. Are you going to actually visit the person's stall while they're there, and then things can get sold? Or are you going to be able to put things up for sale? So like in Mabinogi, another MMO, take it or leave it, whatever, it is what it is. But in there, you can put down like a carpet in a community area in the center of a town, and then that is your shop, and you pay upkeep on it, and you can put things for sale, and people just come up to it, see what you have, purchase it, the money goes into the bag, and you collect the gold. So it's more of an automated process, which I'd be okay with, honestly. I think they should allow for gameplay for both aspects, be able to take in-person transactions as well as automated, because that's going to really feed into the whole role play of the game. But I cannot wait to see how that is going to work out over the coming months. I'm going to grab a drink of water here, 1 second. Jason says, wonder if we will have taxes. If there are taxes, I think it would probably be paid to your clan. But then again, if you have a stall set up or a thing set up inside your town, you're probably paying for the plot that you're playing on. It's not controlled by another player, right? Like if you're on my plot, sure, I could understand you paying the clan taxes. But if it's your own stall on your own plot of land and it just happens to be within our village, I'm not sure how taxes would work then. I guess because you're paying the upkeep with real money, like real life cash to pay for your plots. I guess you could argue the real estate location means that you would pay taxes. I would like to see some type of tax system. I think that would be cool, like a levy you're putting on your clan members. Templar says, I feel you kind of have to have auto. I think he's talking about the trade stalls, because otherwise you're just going to be sitting there waiting for half the day for someone to show up. Yeah, but that's why I said I hope they do have a system that is both, right? I want it to be automated so it can just take the payments and stuff. Maybe you have to hire some type of NPC. I know they said there's not really going to be NPCs, but maybe you have to hire some type of AI to manage it or something, or pay. Maybe if you're not there, you have to pay a salary to somebody, or a percentage goes to, some person or something. But then if you want to, they need to make it to where if you want to stand there and sell stuff because your town is popping and you got all kinds of people in it, that you can take in-person transactions for it. That would make it feel you're applying it to, then you're making it accommodate both people. You have people who are role playing and people who just want to have the money and stuff like that. Because we're playing on an RP server. I plan on softcore RPing, but you have to keep that in mind. You have to have it open so that multiple types of gameplay can emerge from it. Let's see, where did we leave off here? You'll be able to build a market stall on your plot in the same way as any other prop. So yeah, you're gonna be able to just pop down a market stall. The market stall will unlock asynchronous transactions with other players. Asynchronous. I'm trying to see how that's used in this sentence here. So asynchronous, I guess that would be synchronous would be transactions that are being taken place at this, like, all at once. So asynchronous would mean you put it up for sale and they purchase it at a later time. So yeah, it's going to have asynchronous transactions, which I'm assuming, correct me if I'm wrong, how you guys are interpreting that. I think that means you put stuff up for sale, people show up, buy it, and then the money goes into a little holding account or something, or in the item itself, in the market, and then you collect it. Wonder if that could be stolen. That'd be interesting. They say it's using gold as the currency. Gold, in turn, can be earned either by selling items and resources to other players or from looting them from PvE. So it sounds like the entirety of money is going to come from PvE and then trickle down inherently into the trading system. So no money will be earned outside of PvE. You can't just, if I never PvE'd and I don't have any money, and you haven't PvE'd and you don't have any money, we can't have like a transaction because there's no money in circulation. So the money printing machine is going to be player versus environment. Yeah, I think I'm reading that right about the asynchronous transactions. Scroll down a little bit here. They got another paragraph. This continues further, more features will be added to this corner of the game during early access, including altars and miracles. The regretted teleport feature may make a comeback. I'm not sure what the regretted teleport feature is. Maybe that's a form of fast travel. I would like to see that be magic of sorts. That would be cool to have magic that has maybe somewhat of a steep cost to have the teleport, and maybe certain things affect what you can take with you, almost like Valheim, how you can't fast travel while you have certain materials on you. I don't know why it's regretted though. Maybe people don't like fast travel. I'm not sure. I'm not completely opposed to it, especially in a game like this, but once we have mounts and things and other ways to get around more quickly, not necessarily fast travel, but just quicker travel, I don't really see it being that much of an issue, but I'm not too sure what they mean by that. And also some roles that will sit outside of clans. What does that mean? Roles that will sit outside of clans. Does that mean like bandits or something? I'm not sure what they mean by that. Let me know what you guys think about that. Templar says old school mage portals. I think that'd be amazing having old school mage portals. Maybe you need to have multiple mages, almost like in World of Warcraft when you're using a warlock closet to summon people and stuff. You need to have other people's help. Maybe they could do something like that where you have some type of magic spell that requires X amount of resources or material or magic or however they're going to do it. And you start to channel to open this portal, and other mages will have to use their magic to help expand the portal big enough so that players can go through it, and then it will have to be held open so not everybody can go through. If we're opening the portal, that the portal needs to be held open by mages. Again, we're getting into some theory craft, but this would be awesome. They open the portal, it needs to be held open, otherwise it collapses. If it collapses before everybody gets through, well, there you go. Maybe they're unstable portals and they're unpredictable. You know, the more people you have, the more stability you can have there. Jason says mercenaries roles, I'd assume. Yeah, maybe mercenaries, bandits, things like that, who are operating on smaller scales than clans. That could be very interesting, honestly. And maybe they would give them more authority. If you're not in a clan or something like that, maybe you have more authority of, like, I don't know, ganking players or trying to steal stuff from them or something like that. But yeah, having a system where the portal needs to be held open and not everybody can go through. You could have like a mage guild inside of your clan where one of their responsibilities is opening portals for you to be able to go to maybe different anchor points around the world. The first such role we want to introduce are the knight and the soldier. Whoa, wait, hold on a second here. They say, and also some roles that will sit outside of clans. The first such roles we want to introduce are the knight and the soldier. But this is a story for another time. We'll tell you more about them as we get closer. What the hell does that mean? The knight and soldier role, which will sit outside of clans? I don't know what to make of that. There's a lot to unpack right there. Jason says, as far as the teleport, I'd seen it was to, so that you saw the teleport. It was a way to get home and a res shrine that was closest to you on the map. Well, you can get to the shrine right now, the closest one to you on the map. They don't have a home feature as far as I know of, at least in the last alpha. So maybe that's what it was. You could get to your home, but you can still go to the nearest shrine. I think that's to prevent you from getting stuck somewhere currently because the map's not fully finished, I would assume. But hold the phone on this. I don't know what they mean about some roles that will sit outside of clans. The first of those roles introducing the knight and the soldier. I guess we'll find out more in the future, but let me know what you guys think about that. I guess this could mean maybe you're a knight for hire, like mercenaries like we were talking about, or something like that. I'm not too sure. There's the roadmap. We're going to pull this up full screen, so we're not going to go over that just yet. Just the beginning. For us, PAX Day is a game of a lifetime. We're fully committed to developing it for years to come and invite you, the players, to be a part of this journey. If you believe in the game's vision and want to support a team making something fresh in the MMO space, please join our early access and help us build the virtual world you can inhabit for years to come. I'm going to cycle over now, and I'm going to I'm going to take this down and bring up this. Here we go. Boom. Here's the roadmap. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about that knight and soldier roles that sit outside of clans. I would assume that's like mercenaries, yeah, where you're a knight for hire or a soldier for hire of sorts. I'm really intrigued. On the roadmap here, so we have PAX Day early access, the road ahead. My biggest complaint about this roadmap is there's no time frames or anything like that, but they haven't really given us a lot of time frames with the game at all. So I'm not too worried about it. It'll come when it comes. Maybe these are in order of top to bottom, coming sooner at the top. Maybe it goes left to right. I think it does go left to right. I could be wrong. I don't know, because key mapping wouldn't be that hard. But let's look over this here. So in Homestead, we have prop signs. We've already talked about those. Those are the signs you're going to be able to put on your chests and all types of things like that, your doors and whatnot. They're going to expand the building tile sets. So we're going to have more, presumably just more different tiles to build with, different types of doors. I will really want to see some road structures like gravel where you can almost paint them on the ground as opposed to needing an actual solid object. Grapevine wall pieces, which they talked about. New furniture, which will be really great for roleplay. Hopefully we get the ability with animations to be able to sit on that furniture, interact with that furniture. I think it'd be even cool to have workstations where you actually sit down at a spinning wheel and you actually, pump the wheel to spin it and things like that. But again, theory craft. But new furniture, building / crafting balancing. That's great to hear. They talked about that up above a little bit as well. But I want to see the crafting system be fleshed out to where you don't just lose everything for failing, because it feels absolutely awful. Recipe tracker. That's kind of interesting. So I presume if you're trying to work, maybe this means either you're trying to work towards a recipe to unlock it or something, or you can track the recipe and it'll show on screen a list of the ingredients that you need, so you don't have to keep checking. Jason says, yeah, pathing is much needed. It looks sweet. To make it look sweet, yeah. He's talking about putting down like gravel and stuff like that, I assume. Oh, here we go. Homestead, improved permissions system. So they are going to be working on the permissions. I mean, I knew that they were going to. They have to. They could not just leave it as is. So I'm really looking forward to seeing all of these different permissions. I really hope that the permissions, so if mainframe's listening, I really hope that the permissions end up being very detailed, almost too detailed, because you can choose which levels of the permission system you want to use, but you don't have to use all of them, right? So I don't think it'll be overwhelming for people who just want to use a little bit of it. But for the people who really want a finite system of, oh, this area is restricted to this rank and above, or these chests are this rank and above, things like that. If you have access to the crafting stations and things like that, based on if you're a tradesman, maybe only the blacksmith has access to the blacksmith stuff and things like that. I think some of this will be handled by if the blacksmith in your clan has his plot on your property of the greater property of the village. If it's his plot, he can just not give access to anyone, and then no one can steal stuff from the blacksmith. You don't have to worry about it then. But I'd like to see a fleshed out system for clan permissions as well. And then farming, and then they put in parentheses there, planters. So presumably, how I read that is our first implementation of farming is not going to be open world farming where you till the actual ground. You're going to have planters to start, which I'm okay with. First implementation, get the farming down pat, and then let us do open world farming where you can have a giant plot and you could just till the land. They go on to talk about adventure, new spells. We can theory craft all day about different spells, but I think that the way I talked about portals, I think would be really, really immersive and fun in game. Improved combat feel, new enemies, weather. I hope it is dynamic weather. I hope the storms can roll in and you can actually see them coming, kind of like in Valheim or Valorant. Valorant has dynamic storms as well, where you can actually see the storm rolling in and they're localized. So only the area that's underneath the storm is affected by the storm. And I really would like to see natural disaster type weather too, or dangerous weather, or, interesting. I really, really enjoy when games go the path of having the moon phases affect things. So if there's magic in the game, which we know there is, I would really like to see moon phases affect that. And I don't just mean full moon does this one thing and that's it. All different kinds, like new moon, blood moon, full moon, different types of crescent moons, waning moons, and stuff like that. I don't know if they're going to do that. This is just theorycraft, but that could really go a long way with the weather system. Like in Conan Exiles, they have sandstorms and things like that, which are dangerous. So having different types of weather is going to be really fun in game. Improved NPC behavior, so the AI for animals and stuff hopefully will get fixed so you can't cheese things as easily. Better crowd control, unveil the lore and new gear. So that's all the stuff coming for adventure. Civilization, we have clan tabards. Yes. They didn't talk about that yet in the rest of the article, so that's gonna be pretty cool. We'll be able to design our own clan tabards and have our own tailorer produce them. I wonder if you'll be able to have other types of like tabards for ranks and things like that. So the higher your rank, you can have different tabards, and then you can have ceremonies for swapping out the tabards and stuff. Like when somebody takes the oath of knighthood, their tabard gets cycled from their squire tabard to the knight tabard. I'd really like to see that. That would be a lot of fun. It would just add, because again, a lot of this gameplay is going to come from what we make of it, right? So having those systems where you can have these little ceremonies and stuff is going to go a long way. So clan tabards, market stall, which we talked about, a gold economy. Here's those two roles again. They say the knight role and the soldier role. I literally cannot think of what they mean by that. Because we're going to have a knight rank in our rank structure. Our ranks and stuff are going to have to be fluid, because I don't know what this means. If they're implementing other systems, we're going to maybe have to tweak our ranks and titles and stuff like that based on what systems they bring in game. I'm excited to see what it is, but I can't really think of what they mean by knight role and soldier role. We have altars and miracles, which I'm not too sure what that could mean. Maybe miracles are like resurrection or something like that, or protection. Oh, that would be spells. I'm not sure what miracles could mean. Maybe there's different deities that have different miracles that they can bestow upon their followers, kind of like in Conan. And a friends list. Yeah, I look forward to have a friends list. That's going to be really, really useful going forward. Under the miscellaneous section here, we have key remapping, update to Unreal Engine 5.4. So this is interesting. They're trying to keep the Unreal Engine up to date. I hope this doesn't have to come with any setbacks. Normally, it's only big iterations, like from 5 to 6, that would have setbacks. And that's why I'm a fan of games using in-house engines, as long as the engine's good and well supported and has features to be able to produce what they need. But it being Unreal Engine, if they go from 5 to once 6 comes out, how are they going to transition from 5 to 6 and things like that? Like World of Warcraft, it uses the same engine they've used for a long time, which I think is actually the Warcraft 3 engine that's highly, highly modified. And I'm just really curious if there's going to be any setbacks with these engine updates. They're bringing GeForce Now for anyone who cares about that, controller support, German and French localization for language, and voice chat. So we are going to get voice chat in game, which is great to hear, because there's nothing worse than not being able to communicate with someone who's rolling up on you. And that is the entirety of the roadmap and the road ahead, the game we're making part 2. The next thing I want to cover today is going to be the dev chat over on Dane's channel. Let me see how far away we are. We're about a half hour away from the dev chat. About 35 minutes. Trying to think of if I'm going to take a pause, or I think I'm just going to pause the stream, grab some food, come back in time for that devlog. I don't want to end the stream because then I'd have to do 2 streams, and YouTube kind of screws you over when you do too many uploads in one day. It doesn't give your first upload enough time to cook, and then they only promote your last stream. In battle, yeah, in battle, Templar says, hold on, I gotta type something. Everyone stop. Yeah. I mean, obviously we have external services like Discord to be able to chat with people if we're out on missions or ops or something like that. But I think it's going to be very useful to have voice chat to be able to talk directly to other players, the enemies, to be able to say, "Hey, I'm friendly. Please, we're just lonely merchants out trying to travel goods. We're trying to sell goods and stuff like that. Whatever." So I think that's really where the voice chat's going to shine. We have 33 minutes and 28 seconds until the dev chat. How do you think that we should go about doing this? If I put a pause on the stream, we're probably going to lose a lot of viewers, but then maybe they'll come back around the time of the dev chat. But if I end the stream here, then I'm going to have to start a new stream. And this first stream, this episode 8, is going to get pushed on the back burner, and it's not going to get nearly as many views as it should. It takes normally a day or 2 in order to really peak on your viewership and stuff like that. And I'm not too worried about it, but we're getting very, very close to my subscriber goal of 200. It would be awesome to reach my subscriber goal right as I'd be on like cloud 9 right as we go into early access. We're at 196 subscribers. Let me check the updated numbers here. We have about 12 people watching live. Let me see my updated numbers to see if we have any new. We're at 197 subscribers. Sometimes my subscriber thing doesn't actually go off live for some reason. Tyler says, wish YouTube would have little games that viewers can play with each other while waiting for chat or waiting in chat. That'd be kind of cool, actually. Yeah. You can have like Pong or Snake or something. You can just mess around and chat. Okay, we're at 197. We just need 3 more to reach our goal of 200. I'm going to set a new goal once we do, but it'd be really awesome. There you go, 197. Thanks, Tyler, for the sub. Really appreciate it. It'd be really awesome to get to 200, reach that goal, and then go straight into early access. Also, Tyler, it's hard for me to keep track of everyone who's already joined the community, but if you are interested in joining the Order of the Blood Brothers, which is the clan that the Inner Sleuths and Cheeky Buggers United, our parent company, is going to be hosting, join our Discord, head over to our website, send in an application. I have a couple applications I need to get to on the website. Let me go check right now and see. We have Canner and Connor who have applied. I have not replied to their applications yet. So we have 2 applications there. Panda P Sherman's was accepted. Maven's was accepted. Templars was accepted. TK Seaton's, obviously he's one of the sleuths, was accepted. So is Panda P. Lord Bardamu was accepted. We got Black Pickle was accepted. Flying Loco. Grim North, one of the other sleuths. Rough Rider. I put mine out there just as an example. So we got quite a few people have already applied. But we're always looking to grow. So if you guys are interested, more than welcome to submit an application over on our website. Haptics says, just play one of your old streams during this stream while you're AFK. Easy peasy. I've never actually done that before. I'll have to figure out how I can do that. I guess I could just pull it up on screen. I mean, I have a break button that I hit and it pulls up music and goes to like intermission, but I don't want to lose all of my viewers while we wait. It's not too far off, so if we can think of some stuff, I already covered everything in these articles here. If you guys want to go in depth on any of these, or if you have any idea what this knight role or soldier role might be, or any other thoughts on anything, I'm more than happy to stick this out and keep engaged. I can get a snack later, right? Hey, we just hit 200. Let me refresh the page, make sure it's not teasing me. We have reached our 200 subscriber goal. As long as nobody unsubscribes, we will be going into early access having reached our 200 subscriber goal. That means we need to update. Let's see if I can update this live. I'm not too sure. Sub goal. Let's do edit in element editor. I'm going to see if I can edit this sub goal live. I don't know if it'll let me, but let's see. Background, target, 200. What do we think the next goal should be? We just reached 200. I was saying I want to go maybe 500, but that's a big goal. That's a big jump. I mean, it's going to take a little longer to reach that, but maybe we just go another 100. Hey, there it goes. It popped up. Thank you very much for that subscription. Oh, now they're all flying through now. They're just a little delayed, it seems. I use Stream Elements for all of my notifications and stuff. So thank everybody for all of those subs we just had fly through. Did we just pass 200? Hold on, I'm going to update the sub goal. What do we think the new sub goal should be? Tyler says we'll be joining Discord, but me and my brother are loner merchants waiting for farming so we can continue our family business. He's got a little salute in there, 07. Hey, Tyler, yeah, no, that's great to hear that, you guys are going to be working together there. If you'd like to be able to come to us and have our services of protection or anything like that, if you ever need someone to back you up, you just come to the Order of the Blood Brothers. And if you ever change your mind in the future and you want to take up the oath of brotherhood, it's for males and females, everybody in between. It's just the name of the clan is Blood Brothers. It's not a gender specific thing, obviously. But if you ever want to take up ranks in the future, you can always, we're not going to be villains. We're not going to be jumping people. We're not going to be doing Robin Hood stuff either. But if you ever need protection or if you want to consider joining our ranks in the future, keep us in mind. Also, I'm going to be having ranks, roles, and titles and things like that for everybody from all walks of life to be able to participate as much or as little as they would like in Blood Brothers. We're going to have ranks and roles of people who just want to do exactly what you're saying and not actually take a full-on role or be enlisted into the Blood Brothers ranks or have any duties put upon you, who just want to be a part of our greater order. So if that interests you at all, please keep us in mind. That goes for everybody who's listening. Everybody's more than welcome to apply. I'm assuming I'm going to get flooded with applications, and me and my moderators are going to have to keep up with all the applications on our website. It's going to be hard, so bear with us as we try to work through those. We try to make sure that everyone is getting taken care of in the order that they apply. Haptics is saying 300 or 500 for sure for the sub goal. Templar says he was planning on having members that want to be friends of Blood Brothers who want to do their own thing. You can. Oh yeah, definitely. That's what I just explained there, Templar. Thanks for popping that in chat. Yeah, we're going to have roles for everybody who wants to just be our neighbors, who want to be a part of our greater kingdom. I'm still trying to flesh out the roles and stuff. It's kind of hard when we have things like the knight role and soldier role popping up. We don't know exactly what that means. We don't know if there's going to be other systems coming into play. I'm sure there's going to be a bunch over the coming months, but there's going to be something for everyone. I can promise you that. As big of a role or as small of a role as you want. I know Maven is really gunning for ambassador. She's probably going to end up getting it eventually. We're starting off small. We do not have royalty. So keep that in mind. We don't have royalty. I'm not a king. I don't rule over you. I will obviously, I'm the founder. I run the YouTube channel around it and stuff like that. So I'm going to be making the final decisions when it comes to a lot of stuff, but we're going to have councils. We're going to have Knights of the Round Table who are all bringing their ideas together. We're going to have some higher ranked structures and things like that. Maybe I'll pull up the rank structures and we can talk about that in the meantime as well. But Haptic says maybe 500 since it's about to launch. Going to be a lot of people looking for content. Yeah, you know what? I like that idea. Let's put a 500 goal. I'm going to get ambitious. If we have to wait a while to reach that, it'll be exciting when we do, because I'm ecstatic that we passed 200 already. So really, thank you all for subscribing. I really appreciate it. I'm going to be bringing a lot of cool content around this game. We're going to have a lot of fun in the clan. And that's the other thing too. Even if you don't want to be a part of Blood Brothers, and maybe you want to be, maybe you do, maybe you don't want to be a part of our greater kingdom, you can also still participate in our events and stuff. We're going to be hosting events for outsiders to come in, and we're going to hold like galas and things like that, tournaments and jousting. A lot of them will be for our knights, but viewers can come, and maybe we have a small entry fee to enter our fairground or something, and you come and you get to watch the games, the blood sports take place, or the challenges of skill take place and things like that, such as jousting and stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun. The emergent gameplay that's going to come out of role playing in this game is going to be astounding. But yeah, let's set the goal for 500. I don't think that's unobtainable. And I think we're going to reach that pretty quick, like you're saying, Haptic, with the game coming out tomorrow. I'm going to start my stream early. I'm going to download it as fast as I can. I have a Steam key, so I'm not going to be able to preload. I really wish that they didn't do preload for the launcher because it makes it a little unfair just because people want to have it on Steam. But it is what it is. I changed the target to 500. Let me save and publish. This should update. It's going to refresh up there in the top left. I don't know why the bar is full, because 201 is definitely not a full bar on 500. Let me look into that. Oh, I know why. Hold on. I think I did something wrong. I need to actually edit the bar and set it. Or maybe I just need to refresh it. Let's see. Background progress bar. Goal. That's the goal background. That's the progress bar. Current followers is my total subscribers. Target is 500. The text is subscriber goal. No, I think I just need to refresh it. Let me see. Nope, it's still doing it. Let me pick it out here and try refreshing it again manually and see if that works. Sub goal, refresh. Nevertheless, I'll get it sorted in between streams here and stuff too. Not a big deal. I'm really looking forward to hearing what these devs have to say in this next upcoming interview over on Danae's channel. I'm going to cover it live. We're going to be doing commentation on it. Hopefully Danae, again, does not mind that. I don't know why it's not popping back up here. Tyler says a lot of clans have set in stone roles, like you have a gathering role. They will expect you to keep A, B, and C stocked up. That's a lot of anxiety for me. Yeah, no, we don't have anything like that. This is a very relaxed, soft core role play guild on the Danu RP server. We're going to be on the province of Caries and Tremen because I want our clan is going to be a prominent figure in the land. I don't have anything like that, Tyler. So if that's what you're worried about, none whatsoever. No worries at all. We're going to have all types of people who are contributing what they want to contribute. They're bringing things to the table that they want to work on at your own pace. I mean, when it comes down to military operations and stuff and having these roundtable conversations and stuff, it's going to just be for fun. You know, at the end of the day, this is a game. We want to have fun. We don't want to make it into a game where you have to be a farmer in real life and a farmer in the game. That would just be insane. So if that's what you're worried about, don't worry about that at all with Blood Brothers. Order of the Blood Brothers is going to be very relaxed. No drama. Some people worried about drama. I don't do drama in my ranks. If someone's causing drama, if someone's having problems, they can come to the higher ups. We'll get it taken care of. And as little drama as possible. Obviously, whenever human beings come together, you have some form of drama. And even if you're not in a clan, you can have drama directed at you, you know. But you're going to have a lot of protection from being a part of a clan. A solo player is going to be able to get picked on a lot easier than someone who has a whole kingdom backing them up. Tyler says he's going to talk to his brother about it for sure. Yeah, I really appreciate it. If you guys change your mind in the future, you don't have to make a decision right now, obviously. Our door is always going to be open unless we get flooded by too many. I may temporarily halt the application process, but I'll pull that up here. I think we'll have enough stuff to talk about. We got chat rolling here. I think we'll have enough to talk about where we won't have to do an intermission. I'm trying to get my sub goal functioning here. I'm going to take down the roadmap for a second. $202 subscribers. All right, let's pull up my website and I can go over the ranks and stuff with everyone again. Brave Brown. There we go. All right. I know it's a little cut off on the sides and stuff because I have this set up for reading articles and not so much showing off my website and application process. I'm trying to get the sub goal pulled back up here as well. I'm doing all this live, so bear with me. No, I don't want to preview it. I want to edit. I'm so intrigued what this knight role is going to be. I cannot think of what they even mean by that. Progress bar. Yeah, everything looks fine. It's bound to total subs. The current followers is the total sub value, and the target is a flat number that I set of 500 because you can see the number on the end. Well, you can't see it right now because it's not showing for some reason. Goal background. There's the background for the goal. Everything looks fine there. Yeah, it all looks pretty good. Oh, here we go. Max value 500. Okay, I found it. Min value 0, max value 500. Save and publish. This should hopefully, if it decides to show up. That should fix it now because I changed the bar. I changed it, the minimum maximum value up to 500. It was at 200. That's why the bar was full, even though it wasn't fully populated. Trying to get it to show back up now. It'll show up if it wants to. Let's go over. So here's all the different applications that people have applied. You can't really see it on the left-hand side here. I could make it a little bigger. I could change the padding, but I don't want to mess it up for the rest of my stuff. 3D printed Dungeoneer says knights are going to be able to do PvP anywhere on the map, is what people are thinking. That would be really interesting. Is that they say that that's outside of a clan. So if you're a knight, you're an independent knight. You're not in a clan. So then you can PvP on your own anywhere. I don't know about that. I mean, we'll see for sure. That's definitely an interesting concept. I wonder what the soldier role would be then. But over here, if we go to the PAX Day Blood Brothers tab, you have all the articles and stuff that I've pushed. This is where we're going to be keeping track of happenings in and around the clan as well. But if we go to the clan application template, you can see here, this is a template that I made for new applicants. You'd basically register on the website, and then you would copy this. And this may change in the future, I'm not sure, but this is the basic stuff, that information that we need right now. It's just your name, your Discord, are you over 18? And if you're not over 18, you don't have to be. I just want to know who's not over 18. So that way we know what things are acceptable around certain people and things like that to help get a feel for the community as we all come together here. Your time zone, which is going to help us coordinate things together. Reason for joining, how you heard about us. Most of them is through the inner sleuths. And then your favorite professions and things like that, or aspects of the game. Haptic says, my assumption is that the knight/soldier will just be a preset role inside of clans and kingdoms, but time will tell. The thing that leads me to believe that that may not be the case is, where did they talk about it? It was somewhere in here. Where is it? It's not under Homestead or Adventure, I don't think. I think it was under Civilization. Right here. And also some roles that will sit outside of clans. The first such roles we want to introduce are the knight and the soldier. So that right there is what's got me really thinking. Because you're saying maybe there are roles inside of clans and kingdoms and stuff like that, but they clearly state right here some roles that will sit outside of clans. That's what's throwing the curveball at me. I'm not too sure what that really could mean. We got another sleuth in the comments here, or in the chat here. We got TK Seaton. Thanks, Tom, for stopping by. Yeah, we're actually at 202. I think one of them is pending. YouTube does some weird things with the numbers, but yeah, I saw 202 popped up. So we passed our first goal. I'm trying to get my new sub goal updated and up in the top left corner there. Wait, what's actually up there? Is it actually shown, but it's just too small? No, I don't know what that is. There's something in the very top left. But yeah, I'm setting the new sub goal for 500 because we think that the channel is going to blow up with new people as the game comes out. Same with the clan. The clan's going to be growing exponentially. We already got a bunch of people who are prospects. You know, they're thinking about joining. So If you have any insight to give them, Tom, go ahead and blast it out right now. We're going to be watching, I need to hide this for 1 second, but we're going to be watching Dane's channel with another dev interview. Let me pull this down because I'm going to switch over to his channel really quick just to see. We have 14 minutes and 12 seconds until the dev chat. Then I can pull this back up now. Haptic says, we'll see, just could come down to wording thing since a lot of devs are in the EU. Yeah, I did notice that a lot of their wording and the way they organize their sentences. That's why sometimes I stumble on it a little bit because it's not it's not like a properly formed sentence per se, but no worries, they can still get the point across. But yeah, you might be right. It might come down to just somewhat of a little bit of a language barrier there, communication barrier. But yeah, on our website here, if you copy this, you go back to the PAX Day Blood Brothers sub forum or discussion they're called on here, and you put your name. So you put your name, Blood Brothers application. So Voidlock's Blood Brothers application. In my case, you paste this in the body, you fill it out, change it with your answers, and then I or a moderator or admin will approve or deny your application. I don't see us really denying anybody. I'm not sure why we would, but it's just I like to just go through each of them personally and get to know, make sure they're on the Discord and stuff like that. And I'm trying to make it so that everybody in the clan is a subscriber, so they're all taking part in the community of it. But let's look at, so we have a code of conduct. We'll touch on this really quick. Code of conduct is not set in stone rules or anything like that. It's just when you are in a clan, when you're in the Order of the Blood Brothers, everybody is a representative of us. The actions you take in game are going to directly correlate and influence people's opinion of the Order of the Blood Brothers. I don't want people acting amok and ganking people and being assholes in the game, and then that reflects badly on us. So in that regard, I rule with an iron fist. I do the same thing for my Discord community. If people are making other people feel bad and doing weird stuff that's just causing drama and things like that, I put an end to it really quick. So don't worry about drama and things like that. Code of conduct may change, so make sure you guys are checking this often. I will notify people if it does change, which I do see it changing in the future. More things get added, but the main thing is just don't be an asshole and don't body camp. That's one of my biggest pet peeves is body camping. I'm not saying that through the normal bounds of RP, you can't kill people multiple times or hunt them down and things like that. Like bounties are going to be a thing. We're going to be putting bounties on enemy clans or bandits and things like that as they become infamous. But I'm not a fan of camping somebody and preventing them from playing the game simply for that being the sole purpose of it. And then I just go on to say, follow the softcore RP for more immersion. That can mean as much or as little as you want. I don't want people to get scared away by that as well. I don't want people to think of, oh, I really am going to have to talk like my character, or act like a knight and things. Just act with the dignity that your role, with the professionalism that your rank and role and titles demand of you. Have that in the back of your mind when you're making decisions. A commander's not going to be doing things that a commander shouldn't be doing. I mean, obviously, nobody's perfect, but I don't want to scare people away with the RP sense. Tom says, make sure you've all liked and subscribed. Thanks for that reminder, Tom. And he also hopes that all the Blood Brothers are ready for tomorrow. 7 a.m. is when it's going down. Templar says, heck yeah, a TK. My 5 a.m. alarm is set. It's going to be an early one. Tyler says, oh, right. On you play on Kingdom RP also? Right on. What do you mean by that, Tyler? Kingdom RP? Another one of our pet peeves, no griefing or exploiting in any way. Such behavior will immediate expulsion from the order. I'm very loose with the exploiting because, again, some of the game mechanics are just exploity by nature, like jumping on top of something and stabbing an animal down below. I don't really consider that an exploit, even though the animal can't get you. That's a pitfall of the game not having the proper mechanics to have them evade or something. But griefing, finding out ways to steal from other clans that are going around and circumventing the permission systems and things like that. We need to bring those to the attention of the devs to get them fixed, not exploit them. And that's a big deal for me. 6 a.m. for you, Jason. Yeah, 7 a.m. for me. I'm going to double check just because I don't want to miss this. I'm probably going to wake up pretty early so I can prepare for it, get breakfast really early. It's going to be a long stream. I hope people are able to tune in while they play. Hopefully people got 2 monitors or listening on their phone and things like that so I can still have viewership. But we are going to do an actual gameplay live stream, not a PaxCast. These are more like informational. Hey, the subscriber goal showed up in the top left. There we go. It just needed to it just needed to work out its kinks. Tom's over in the UK. Yeah, pretty sure that'll be 1 p.m. for me. That's not too bad. That's actually a preferable time, probably. But let's go back here and let's look at the ranks. I'm going to check really quick. I'm going to hide the browser, and I'm going to check over on the channel over here. We got 8 minutes till it goes live with the devs. I'm trying to think of how I'm going to bring this up. I may need to do a like 1 minute intermission so that way in the background I can get all of this stuff set up. Hold on, let me actually just try this really quick. Bear with me. I'm going to try doing cam of cam. I'm going to pop this out. Let's do this. Let me pop this up. Okay, yeah, so it's working. All right, I have his thing patched in now, just like we did before. So that will, I don't have to do an intermission or anything like that. Let me go back to our website here and pull this back up. Hey, perfect. Everything's going pretty smooth. So this is a brief overview. I don't want to get too much into it because we don't have a lot of time here. Let's see. Let's catch up on some chat. Templar says 7 a.m. is when it opens for Central Standard Time. That's when I'm getting up early. Gonna get coffee in me first. Oh, I got you, Templar. Yeah, Templar, it's hard for me to keep everybody straight on what their ideals were about their form of gameplay, but I think you were wanting to take part and you want to be a full-fledged member of the clan. If that's so, people who are wanting to take full-blown access to the clan and like actually be a part of it as we, like I think Maven's going to want to do that and stuff, we can group up very early on. And you guys, I'm not going to be able to bring you on and chat and voice until I do proper vetting and stuff like that, just because of that's just how I do things. Before I actually bring people on in that sense, I make sure I vet them and I get to know them a little more. But that being said, we can group up really early on to get a head start. We're going to head straight to Tremin, start scouting out areas, and we're going to be in communication. So you guys message me, tune into the streams and stuff like that, and let me know where we're going. We can team up, go out, collect stuff together right out the gate if that's something that you guys are looking forward to doing. Tyler says, oh, never mind. The Discord bot was confusing you. Oh, about the time. Oof, 1 p.m. is practically all day. Oh, yeah. So over by you, Tyler, you got to wait pretty much all day to. You're over in the UK, I assume, as well. Or no, you're talking about Tom being over in the UK. Yeah. Tom, are you going to be able to be there at launch? Is 1 p.m. work for you? Are you going to be able to be there at launch to take part right out the gate? I'm going to have to download the game and stuff too. So we're going to do a little bit of a pre-party before I get it all downloaded on Steam. But let's talk about our ranks a little bit. Let me check one more time here how much time we have left. I should start a timer in the top left corner, but by the time I figure out how to set that all up, it would already be action time. So let me pull this up really quick. We have 5 minutes to talk about ranks. So this is my we'll be on Cord, right? Though, right? Are you talking about Discord, Jason? About me being on Discord? I'm going to be in my live streaming section of Discord. So again, I don't know if I can find a way where you guys can hear me live, but you're not patched through. I guess I could turn off chat communication going into my stream so I could hear you, but the chat couldn't. The reason I'm so cautious about that is it's very easy to bring on a guest and then they can get your whole channel nuked when I do live stuff. Tom says he should be able to have the day off. Hell yeah, brother, right on. We're going to be day one getting at it. We only have a couple minutes left here before this comes live. And we'll be talking, we can talk intermittently as we wait for the devs to actually come on and stuff like that about some of these ranks and things too, if you guys have questions. But this is a rough overview of my idea of the rank structure. I was going to have a third branch that was going to be for tradesmen, but I think with the way the game systems are set up, we're gonna facilitate that through titles and not actual ranks, right? Because it doesn't make sense for you to be master blacksmith, but you're the best blacksmith in the clan, but you're also like a newbie at it. It doesn't really make sense. So your rank is going to be based on your actual rank. Within Blood Brothers, we have two rank structures that are parallel to one another in some ways. So they're different, but they do run parallel to each other. The lowest rank, as you climb the ranks, you're climbing up both rank structures. You don't have both ranks actually, but they have equivalency, right? The first rank structure is a military branch. This consists of the page rank all the way up to the Grand Marshal. These players aspire to climb the ranks of knighthood to protect our clan and its members. The second rank structure is the diplomatic branch. This is the scribe all the way up to minister. These players want to climb the ranks of diplomacy and help our clan grow in numbers and handle relations with other clans. I'm thinking of calling basic clan members brothers. And then as you progress up, you'll take the oath of the Order of the Blood Brothers. That may change. Again, a lot of this is fluid. I'm still testing the waters here. So the details on the military branch and their titles. We start off with conscript, then you go up to page, squire, and esquire. Esquire that means you have a direct knight above you. Templar says, oh, true, you could have us muted and we could just type back to you if needed. I mean, I can have it to where I can hear you, but the stream can't. So I'll figure out something like that where we can all be in chat together. It just might be a little jarring for viewers to not be able to directly hear the people that I'm playing with. But if you say something important, I can relay it to them. It's just until I can vet people and actually be able to bring them on as guests. And even then, it's so hard with who you're going to be bringing on. Because again, this is live. I can't edit out something if you say something really bad that would get me nuked, So I have to be very careful with that. But squire and esquire are the highest of these lower ranks. Esquire meaning you have a knight who is your knight. You're being trained specifically by them. Man-at-arms and sergeant-at-arms are titles that can be acquired by them. There'll be a squire council, which is an unsanctioned meeting of the lower ranks overseen by the knight bachelor. I will be starting as a knight bachelor, and then as our ranks swell and people get promoted, I will inherently go up above them. I'm not going to go just straight to Grand Marshal. Yeah, Jason says you don't need crazy saying stuff live. Exactly. I'm glad you guys understand that. We will have knight sergeant, knight lieutenant, knight captain, knight commander. Ambassador can be granted to knight lieutenant and above only. We'll have the knight council, which is the Knights of the Round Table, a sanctioned meeting of the military heads. Then you have commander, which is population based. As we need more commanders, we'll have more commanders. Same with marshal, and then there's grand marshal at the top, a singular entity that oversees the entire military branch. Then we have scribe under diplomatic. I'm going kind of quick. If you guys have questions, we can talk more about this. But let me pull up. We have 1 minute until it goes live with the devs. Scribe, secretary, herald. Those are the lower ranks of diplomatic branch. Tyler says, you like us. Yeah, like us, who wants to be a farmer in a village, in a village, but part of a clan or village. We are brothers. Sounds right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you'd be like part of us. You could come to us and we're more likely to give you protection because you're bringing your goods and services to us, right? Maybe you pay us a less of a fee. You get a discount for our protection or something like that. You're part of the clan, or you provide us with stuff. Not all of your things. I'm not going to be socialist here or anything like that, or communist rather. I'm not going to be stealing your product, but maybe you get a discount on protection, or we go out of our way to make sure you're taken care of and things like that. Scribe, secretary, herald, magistrate, counselor, justiciar or justicar, however you want to pronounce it. Ambassador will be for counselor and above. Attaché will be for counselor and above. And then the council will consist of not just counselors and above, but also knights and above, or maybe knight sergeants and above. Well, it'll be fluid. We'll have to figure it out. High justiciar will be population based. Emissary is a very specific role that will be reserved for espionage. And then we have the minister, which is the equivalent of the grand marshal. The grand marshal and the minister are the two heads that form up the main high council that will oversee the clan. So it will be a group effort. And then we have a bunch of different titles and stuff that we'll get into later. Let's pull up Danae's chat because I think it's going to be starting soon. Templar goes 99% of your stuff. Give it now. Yeah, right. So here is Danae. Make sure you guys go give him a like, give him a subscribe, whatever Twitch has. I'm not on Twitch, so I don't know how it all works, but huge thank you to him. Maybe he just hasn't found out about us patching him through yet. I'm commentating on it. I'm not just stealing his content or anything like that. All credit goes to Danae for getting these interviews and stuff like that. Seems like a really great guy. I popped in his chat once, but all credit over to Danae. Make sure you guys go and follow him and all of that good stuff. Hopefully he doesn't nuke us or put copyrights out against us. Again, thank you, Danae, for hopefully allowing me to, maybe I'll reach out to you in the future as my channel grows and we can collaborate on some stuff because it seems like you're really into this game as well. But his channel is much bigger. He's got 1,358 people watching. So hopefully he doesn't mind us patching him through. Again, it's just for these dev interviews. I want to be able to bring that to my community live. Let's see here. If I unmute him, can you guys hear him instantly? Bear with me. I'm doing this all live again. No, you cannot hear him yet. Okay. All right. Let me pull up my audio software. So I can hear him right now and you guys cannot. I'm going to get him patched through. So that's the Brave browser. So that'll go through chat. Okay. So once it's time to switch over for you guys to be able to hear him, we will make it so you can actually hear him at that point. I'm listening right now. He's got a really cool setup too. He's actually in a van streaming over Starlink right now. So if it cuts out, if the audio cuts out with the dev interview and stuff like that, it's not in my control. But we're just waiting for these interviews to start now. So any questions about the ranks or any questions about, joining our ranks or anything like that of the Order of the Blood Brothers, please let me know. We got Tom in chat. He can answer any questions. He's one of the sleuths. He's been in a lot of our other content, one of my great good friends, Tom. So make sure you guys ask him any questions you have. Ask me any questions. Ask on the Discord. Anything you need, we got you. I will be requiring applications for even for people who want to be like on the outskirts of our clan. So if you want to have some form of relation with us, and I'm eventually going to have a section for clan to clan relations on the website as well, where players can actually bring their clan's diplomats to work with our diplomats and things. I like to keep it documented on the website, on the forums and stuff. Tyler says, yeah, he covers every game. He's a cool dude. Yeah, he seems like a really awesome guy. I haven't known him for that long. I don't actually know him personally, but I haven't known about his channel for that long. Haptic says his van setup is sick. Yeah, I have a trailer actually. I might have to set up something like this. Get a little recording studio in my travel trailer. That'd be kind of cool. Haptic says traveling and gaming. How elite. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I'll have to look into Starlink. Let's see what else we got here in terms of. So when I put him in the background, what is that actually right there? I don't know what that is. When I put him in the background, I don't know what that was that popped up there for a second, but when I put him in the background, it actually blackens his screen. So I have to keep him in the foreground. What happens if I minimize this? Oh, it doesn't actually shrink it that much. That's not too bad. You can see it changes the aspect ratio a little bit. So if I have that like that and I click here, can I scroll? No, it must be in the foreground. Okay, we're learning. So I'll keep him in the foreground there. Let's see what he's saying. Oh, so his community is going to be able to throw questions at the devs. Not too many, he says, though. When are the devs coming on? Let's see. Oh, he said a few minutes, and then they're going to get it going. So I'm going to take him down for 1 second, and we'll switch back over. Back to these ranks and stuff. So back into some titles. I think titles are going to be a very fun thing for the clan, because we're going to be able to give titles to people based on different feats and almost like nicknames and things that they achieve in the game. Again, a lot of softcore RP is going to go into this. Master of the Games is going to be a singular title held by someone of middle rank who's going to be the host of our tournaments and our games. They can have assistants and stuff who help them coordinate it all. But if we're having a jousting tournament, it'll kind of be like this. The heads of the clan, the council and stuff, they'll say, we need to promote some more knights, or we're going to do a promotion, or we just want to put a game on to have an event where other clans are coming to watch our knights compete and things like that, like medieval times style. And we will go then and tell the master of the games, we need to put on a game. This is what we want the game to be about. He'll then take it upon himself to go and coordinate that, or she will, whoever it is, they'll coordinate that. That's the title of master of the games. And how that would look is you can hold a rank and have a title. So it could be Void Lock, Knight Sergeant, Master of the Games, something like that. You know, it's just a title that goes underneath your rank. Quartermaster can oversee all of our product and equipment. Champion of the Arena could be like maybe a duelist title if you're the best knight within your bracket of dueling, like the heavyweight champion, so to speak. Master at Arms could be another title. Court Jester could be someone who just likes to goof around and tell jokes. Maybe they can put on a comedy show for us or something, a little show where we all come into the grand hall and they put on some show for us. I don't know. We can come up with stuff. Blade Master is potentially one. Vanguard, Blood Justiciar could be a cool title held if we have multiple Justiciars. You could have the High Blood Justiciar, the High Justiciars, regular Blood Justiciar, could be titles that are held by our higher ranking Justiciars. I'm really excited about that rank. It's a really cool named rank. Blood Knight, that could be a title given to knights. Huntsman and Huntsmaster. I have some pretty cool plans for these. We're going to have mini games where we will host events for people to, once they add fishing, we'll bring back the biggest fish or the most fish or the highest weight of fish, find as many boars as you can, things like that. We'll be putting on different games. On Off is in chat saying need alliance. Yeah, we're definitely going to have alliances. And also thanks for the message and thanks for tuning into the live stream. We're going to be getting Danae relayed with his interview of the devs here really soon. But yeah, we will definitely be working on alliances and things like that. That's why we're going to have our diplomatic branch and our ambassadors of Knight Lieutenant and above and Counselor and above going out and reaching out to these other clans. We'll have attaches, which will have the ability to relay messages for us. And again, none of this is like forced gameplay. I'm not forcing ambassadors. You're going to naturally fall into your ranks and roles, right? So you're not going to be forced to reach out to other clans. I'm not going to be like, stop everything you're doing. You have to go do this. If that is something that you enjoy, that type of gameplay, like Maven, she really likes being ambassador and doing ambassador work and other diplomatic works. Naturally, it's going to be something that she's going to want to do. You're not going to have to force anybody. And if you don't want to do it, the title can be removed or the rank can be changed to suffice what type of gameplay you want to engage in. We're not forcing anybody into a corner. But yeah, On Off, when you're talking about alliances, we're going to have people reaching out to other clans to have good diplomatic relations with other clans. Attaches will be more like messengers. Think the 100 with Sparta, where the Persians send that messenger and he gets kicked into a well. Hopefully you bring security with you and you don't get kicked into somebody's well for delivering a message of war or something like that. But attaches will be messengers. They don't necessarily speak with the authority of the clan, but they come bearing a message. The council is going to be very interesting. This is going to be a gathering of all of the middle and higher ranks coming together to talk about the issues of the clan and get them addressed. We have Forge Master and Master Craftsman. These are some ranks that could be given to people based on their proficiency within their trade. If somebody is more reliable, they may have Forge Master because they know that we can go to them. Let me pull up the chat here because Danae is doing the interview. Let me patch through the audio 1 second.
From developing PAX Day, and I am mega excited to have you guys with me. So thank you again for.
Let me know how the volume is.
For joining me today. Do you want to, Peter? Maybe you could start. Just let us know what you do.
I want you to be able to hear me in the foreground
with PAX Day, and
but them not be too quiet.
Yeah, sure. Hi. Yeah, Peter. I'm the design director on PAX Day, so I kind of oversee, all of the elements of kind of the game design for PAX Day and kind of helping to bring it alive.
Hey, let me know in chat if you guys can hear it good.
Nice. Rainer?
Yeah, I'm Rainer. I'm game director for PAX Day, which means that I have I'm everywhere and nowhere in the project.
I'm everywhere and nowhere.
So it's kind of a dream project, so it's a lot of fun to make. And so and here we are. Thanks for hosting us, Danny.
Yeah.
No, it's a pleasure, and I've obviously been very excited about PAX Day for a long time, and mainly because we got quite a big PvP community, and when we heard about the plans going forward, like, okay, this is right up our street. So we're obviously very eager to see that come to life. But it's been very
Thanks,
fun
Tyler,
so far,
for the confirmation.
and
appreciate it.
The amount of people that have sort of got behind you already, when the game has still got quite a bit to, you're still working on a lot of things, is awesome to see. So been very exciting. Can I ask you how long you guys been working on PAX Day?
The company's founded, what was it? It was 19?
I believe so,
yeah. Kind of. It's founded in fall of 2019. It's all
2019. Wow.
So it's been that's almost 5 years, something like that.
So they're going on 5 years. That's pretty impressive.
Love it.
We founded it from scratch. So we're building the team and making the earliest prototype. So proper game development has not been full 5 years. A lot of prototyping early on, and then of course building the team, which is also a major task and interesting. So it's hard to say, but yes, company founded
roughly 5 years ago. I don't have as experience, but I've run a couple of companies and stuff, and I think the biggest thing is finding the right people to do the right job.
Absolutely,
you get on with, right? And the one thing
same with the clan, finding the right people for the right
the one thing
that
hit me very hard is your first video that you posted, and you sounded like you really gave a shit about the game and the project, and I was like, okay, this is very meaningful, and that goes a long way. So that was super cool. I can see a few people in chat saying there's a little bit of delay here or there. So for you guys who are not aware, for whatever reason this life chose me, I'm now streaming in a van, so the internet may come and go a little bit. So hopefully we're good. But if there's any problems, just give me a shout. But just give it like 30 seconds, and we should be back. What I'm super interested in as well with the development side is, can you share maybe something not negative, but something that you found quite difficult developing off from the start PAX Day? What you found quite difficult, but then also what has been like a super good highlight. I mean, tomorrow is going to be a mega highlight. Of course,
tomorrow's going to be huge.
Along the development process, what's been difficult, and what's been a good highlight for you?
I think the whole I think the whole project is very difficult. It's a very just because of how ambitious it is. It's such a
very ambitious title, honestly.
But that's also what makes it worth it to work on. try to build with a team. And reason why I say it's difficult is just like it's a very complex technologically to pull it off, like with the whole kind of the kind of free building in the world and like all of the kind of both the technical and kind of design
Yeah, the
problems
open
that
world
come with
stuff is going to be the hardest stuff,
it.
really.
And also it's also just
All
been
in one
difficult
place.
to kind of during the whole time when we didn't have like players playing the game, like trusting our assumptions, taking leaps of faith about like how it would actually develop when people actually come into the game, and just like building up to that point was just like emotionally hard sometimes because like the game didn't really come alive until the first alpha and the alpha 2. So kind of and also I guess what's also been difficult is like but fun is how we're trying to kind of reimagine some of the things that we really loved about like kind of some of the older MMOs where the MMOs kind of genre started, kind of reimagining it with kind of newer games and kind of combining those things together in a way that we feel is like a meaningful and kind of like
Oh, hey,
it's
Steph.
kind
Great
of
to see you in chat.
integral to the part of the vision of our game. So there's a lot of
I'm
things
trying
that
not to talk over the devs too. That's why I waited a little while to
we have been
respond.
doing and are doing that we don't think we don't have like a clear like comp to like we just have to like there are some things about the game that we feel are really important, but we can't actually go and play it in any other game. We can't actually go and test it. So
you got to build it.
Yeah, we just got to build it, and then like, and it's been really lovely to see like a lot of those things that we've done. I think I mean like I talked about before. I think like a lot of the things that we were like really passionate about actually, people actually loved as well, like that have been playing so far. So that's been
On off. What do you mean? Can you increase the broadcast?
Yeah. No, man,
You mean the volume?
Yeah, absolutely good to hear. Reino, was there something that's like really shone for you?
Yeah, it's like
it is Dan ATV.
We're doing something that we kind of have a shared vision for this thing. We're not the only ones who want this. We sense this a lot with people we're talking to. A lot of people who want this game, and a lot of people have been dreaming about this type of game for a long time. It was something that I felt very strongly also when I was doing EVE Online. It just that game just had to be made. It's kind of a deja vu moment now again with this.
Yeah, I'm
and
patching
also
Dan
kind of
ATV
stunned
through
that this game hasn't been made yet because
so that we can hear the devs.
This game for 20 years.
But
I mean, there have been, of course, other games, doing similar things, and especially on the sandbox, Sean, especially lately, which I find very encouraging. But what's also common with most of these games, that these are all made by indie studios like us, and it seems to be a pattern that it's very hard to sell the idea of making, a sandbox style MMO with a traditional publisher. I think they're more risk averse, so this game would not have happened unless we were an independent studio. I think that's like 100% certainty.
Yeah.
One of the reasons is that you cannot really prove it until you have the players. So imagine you have funding gates, like you have at traditional publishers. You have to demo the game at certain deadlines.
Exactly. Yeah.
We did this with EVE Online back in the day, and the demo was like the worst demo you would ever see because there's nothing in the game. It's just you and an asteroid, and
yeah.
Of course, we're not. It's easier to demo PaxCast, but at the same time, the game has not yet, taken on the life of its own. It is starting. We're starting to see the seedlings of it in Alpha 1 and Alpha 2. It's very encouraging, but it's going to be extremely exciting to see how it, what's going to happen now once the foundation is built and start breathing life into this.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that. Once the foundation's built, because I think I can speak for a lot of us that we feel that it's basically there, right? We're all playing and we're like, okay, this has got the foundations to be the MMO that we all want to play. So just building on that now.
Yeah, on off.
Like,
it technically is a
okay,
restream. I
all
hope
day today.
Dane
When can
doesn't
I play?
get
When can
upset
I play?
about it, but
Can
I just
play
want to be
now?
able to bring
And last week, DM,
the
Dan,
dev
when's it
interview
launch? When's it
over
launch? I'm
to
like, oh my
YouTube
God. People
for
are just super
my
hyped, and
viewers.
it's really lovely to see it take shape.
And I'm commenting on what
It's funny you talk about
the devs have to say
one question
too.
I
So
did
it's
have was
should be covered by Creative Commons.
a little bit more about you guys, then we'll get into some PaxCast stuff. When you're not developing,
Definitely go give Dan TV
all the time, considering we're launching
sub.
tomorrow into early access. What other games do you play or have you played in the past? What's been your favorite games?
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting actually, because we got to see what inspiration they're pulling
I've
from.
mostly been playing card games. So I play a game called Cards with a K. It's a Second World War game, which actually one of my best friends is making.
I love it.
Yeah, so I only play games by friends. No. Yeah, but I definitely recommend it if you're into card games. Cards with a K. So
Cards with a K. Go check it out.
Yeah, this question is really big. Like, yeah, all the way from like I'm an old school kind of tabletop RPG player, so played a lot of tabletop RPGs, and then into Magic the Gathering. But then of course like more like most every MMO that's come out since I kind of missed Ultima Online and I only played it for a little bit, but starting with EverQuest and World of Warcraft and Lord of the Rings and Elder Scrolls and yeah.
Were you a Guild Wars enjoyer?
Most
yeah,
lately,
I thought it was last week or something. You know,
oh no, yeah.
I played Ultima to pieces. You know, I played it too much. Almost lost my wife for it. So,
yeah. I mean, spent most of my life playing MMOs. Last decade or so, it's been kind of all
Go
over
figure.
the
An
place.
MMO dev is
I love it. It's just
playing MMOs.
It's so funny because the guy who built my van, he I didn't know anything, and he was like, "Oh, I played Lineage 2," and he said it basically took over his life. All he did was play MMOs. It was just it's so funny because this guy's like a craftsman now, and it was funny to hear that he played this massive MMO. I was like, I'm building this van to go and play MMOs on the road. He's like, "You're a madman." To see people's like history with MMOs, and everyone's like delved into them at some point, isn't they?
I don't want to make it too large
for me to
of an
kind of
image
get to
on
know
screen.
and chat to kind of know who's developing the game that they are so eager to play. So a couple of questions about PAX Day, that's all right. The first question is, can player plots decay during early access?
Oh, here we go. We were just talking about this, guys. So talking about the
Not
plot
right
decay.
now, but we're still figuring out. Like we know that like we're gonna need to like somehow identify when players have like completely lapsed. They're never coming back. Like they're not coming back for like months after they place the plot. So we are still figuring out exactly what parameters we need to use basically to kind of free up the space that they've kind of.
So it sounds like there will be some form
spent.
of decay on top of the upkeep for the plot.
We'll talk more about that when we get there. But
Cool.
That's great to know.
That's mainly just to kind of serve the people who are actually playing the game. If
that makes a lot of sense. To be honest,
somebody join and like claim a couple of never return, like that's just like disservice to everyone who is actually playing.
I think everyone has that fear, don't they, that you're in an area where you're building a lovely settlement and you just have littered, half-built.
Looks like people in his chat are saying that you can actually pre-download the game now already if you have the launcher, their launcher.
Value menu. 10 choices, each just $3 or less.
And
starring
we got an ad.
cheese, chicken flatbread melts, grilled chicken and gooey cheese snuggling up together in a pillowy flatbread. Get it on the Cravings Value menu, only at Taco Bell.
My father believed that I was meant to.
I'm gonna mute that. Yeah, so it sounds like we are going to have some form of decay on top of the upkeep for the plots. That's very interesting information. I'm glad we're able to have Dane bring this interview to light. It's cool to see the behind the scenes of everything that the devs are working on and what's inside their heads. You know, that's why I like interviews with devs so much, is you get to actually see the people behind the game who are actually making the game. course, ads come at the most inopportune time. How many ads are we going to get? Hopefully it's the last one. Oh my gosh. Let's go, ads. We're missing precious information from the devs here. Another one. Oh my gosh. We're missing it. Hopefully it's the last one. We'll get back. Here we go.
Move it somewhere else. The buildings there do decay fairly quickly.
And players
yeah,
can
for
also
themselves,
help with that decay process.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, so they're
and
talking a
that-
little more about
that
the
is
decay
also
process.
a kind of feature that we'll work with the community to figure out what are the best parameters, because we don't want it to happen on accident by someone who is who is actually playing.
Yeah. Also, if you need to take a vacation or you're sick or something, and you leave your plot, and there's a lot of stuff to it.
Yeah.
But it's great to get people's view on it, because there's no perfect solution to this. But great to get some ideas.
Yeah, we did a few polls today, and I think every single time, whether it would be answer A or answer B, it was split straight down the middle. So I don't envy you of this situation, because everybody's got it's basically the same either side of the camp. Today you guys dropped your part 2 update, and one of the things
We went over
that
that
I
in
picked
depth.
up
So if
on,
you guys missed
you
that,
mentioned about
check
the
the
combat
earlier
skill
part of the
ceiling,
stream.
that you want the combat skill ceiling to be relatively high. For me, and I think for a lot of people, that's really awesome to hear. Can you share your vision on how you may, at some point, bring this to life, where there is this skill ceiling essentially to the combat, not necessarily just PvP, but combat in PAX Day as a whole?
That's one of the things that we were wondering about in our chat too.
Like when it comes to the gameplay and kind of very player facing stuff that we're going to be introducing to the game, the kind of the two biggest focus areas is one is on the civilization track and the other is on adventure. And so since Alpha 2, we have been working hard on removing some of the jankiness that we had just in the core mechanics, and we're going to continue doing that. We actually have a very good plan to kind of address most of the kind of obvious issues with the combat mechanics, and a lot of those will have already and will kind of give you a lot more control over your character and how you kind of deal with different combat situations. So even without additional content, it will that will raise the skill ceiling quite a bit. But most of the rest of it is going to come with additional content. So new spells and new kind of
On-off says
special
install
abilities
the
that
ad
you're gonna
block.
perform.
I think I have ad block
Kind of
actually,
the
to be
goal
honest.
here is that we let the
I think they're baked
we
into
let
the
each
streams
player,
on Twitch.
as they develop the character and develop kind of what kind of kit they want to equip, what kind of equipment and spells they want to have in their combat kit, or the spells essentially. That kind of determines how high of a skill ceiling they are comfortable with taking on.
Oh,
So,
okay.
if
So
you
your
are,
loadout is going to determine your skill
so with
ceiling.
right now, the fire, most of the spells in the game are fairly easy. The mechanics are fairly simple. They're the firebolt is a sticky targeting homing missile, whereas the bow is it has a lot of skill to it to actually aim it. So we'd have, for instance, a lot more spells that are skill shots, where you can.
Oh, okay, good. They're not just going to lock onto you.
Enemy movement. You're gonna have to aim them, and on the and conversely, they could also have a higher damage or higher power.
Of course,
basically,
yeah, to
because they are
compensate
kind of
for the
skilled.
difficulty.
There's also not a lot of there's no inherent dodge roll in the game. We may or may not introduce it, but at the very least we would introduce more kind of defensive maneuvers that would be tied into some of those skills. So having special attacks or combat maneuvers or spells that like allow you to like move quicker on the battlefield, kind of disengage or dodge skill shots and arrows and stuff like that.
Nice. I think it's the biggest thing that we've always discussed is there's a lot of systems and there's a lot of ways you can do things, but it's that feeling, it's that feeling and the way you feel when you're, let's call it PvEing versus PvPing in a game can feel very different. So whatever you apply that works well in PvE,
that's definitely true. He's
well
spot on
PvP.
there.
And to give you an example from my perspective is, at the moment when you use when you swing a weapon, you're kind of locked in place. In PvE, for me, and that feels okay. But when you're in PvP and you got some madman shouting you over VoIP coming at you, he's gonna kill you. You want to be able to kind of have a little bit more movement.
Yeah, you gotta have a little more fluidity to it.
So that's like one instance of there's so many ways that you could do things, right? It's really difficult.
That's actually kind of a
100%.
topic of like a few different kind of tasks that we're working on right now, is to allow you to kind of break out of those animations much easier. Like basically allow you to break out of those animations. So allowing you to kind of interrupt any of your like, especially being able to break out of any of the basic attacks and actually special attacks and spells as well by like blocking, allowing you to break out of like spell animations just by moving. So if you start casting a spell and you suddenly need to like reposition, you could do that.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's really great to hear. You're gonna have a lot of authority over your character.
Right? You get to know the systems a bit more, and I think there's that overarching statement where the combat in most games need to be easy to play, but quite difficult to master, right? So you can everybody can play it quite happily, have fun, go PvE, go world boss, whatever they do. But
God, I'm so looking forward to the world
when
bosses.
You get into
those mystical creatures,
large scale battle, you got some players that are shining through because they know your systems inside out, and you're like, avoid that guy, he's gonna kick my butt,
Yeah, I mean, we want the. Of course, there's going to be a completely different meta in PvP and PvE, I'm sure, but we still want those combat experiences to be consistent. Like, we don't want to enforce you to like re-equip everything.
PvP is going to be a lot of crowd control.
There's that different meta, and as much as possible, like we would like to.
It's always like that in MMOs.
Like spells that work in both situations. Of course, kind of long duration hard CC is not going to be. It's just always going to be overpowered in PvP. But yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I don't want to make this all about combat. This is like one of the things that I know that my personal community is like really keen to see thrive within PAX. Is there, I don't know if you can answer this, but is there any game that you've played that you take a little bit of inspiration from when it comes to combat?
I'm actually wary of naming a game when it comes to combat, just because there isn't a single game where we just want to comp everything.
I'm kind of glad that he's not naming one.
Just pulling from different games. Yeah.
And
because people would really latch onto that.
Just because like but if I did, then somebody might get upset that if like
exactly.
Like no, it's not this part. It's like
yeah, no,
100%.
Okay, no, that's really good to hear. So moving on slightly from the combat. So at the moment we can get into the building and the crafting, and one of the massive parts of the game is the crafting systems, and it is very in depth already. One of the big questions from a lot of us at the moment is when you are. I mean, I typically farm trees and give the wood to someone else, but when someone's crafting weapons and armor to level up their character, typically, let's say for argument's sake, I'm crafting spears. I'll craft 100 spears, and those spears will end up on the floor.
Exactly.
Are you thinking about potentially like a recycling / salvage system where we can reuse those materials?
Oh, they're shaking their heads. Yep.
We just haven't made it yet, but it is on our plan for the homestead.
That's great to hear. So we're not going to be crafting a bunch of materials that just get thrown out.
When you craft something, you might get some salvage, you might get some materials back if you fail or succeed. We want to do that basically for any craftable, basically, that you can kind of you can recycle it and get a little bit some materials back. And sometimes if you're really lucky, you might get some more expensive ones back.
Oh, cool.
And it's both to it's kind of to.
So a little bit of RNG behind the salvaging.
Less bad when you have like been crafting a lot of stuff to kind of skill up. Also, just like we have a lot of like
They feel
wanna
our
do
pain.
like a lot of kind of quality of life
That right
improvement
there
when it comes
confirmed
to
it.
like inventory management. But and of course one of those things is like sometimes you just end up with a lot of things that you just don't want to have to deal with, like organizing or giving away or whatever, and you might just want to recycle it and like make your life a little easier.
Amazing.
So yeah, we definitely want that.
That seems very.
One thing to add,
Sorry.
Peter, as you talk about
Yep.
inventory management, we're launching with slightly larger inventory. You have one more row of inventory.
Oh, hell
There
yeah, we got a bigger
go.
inventory.
That's
I can
cool.
carry more
That's
flax
That's
back
very
now.
welcomed. I can see everybody cheering
I know.
on the inventory and the.
I only have to make 36
and-
flax runs
and the
now, not
salvage. That's
37.
awesome. Look at it. I love it. Brilliant. This is what, for me, like doing something like this is absolutely amazing, because you say something like that and you see them going wild, see chat go, oh, it's just fucking brilliant. It's really brilliant. It's very very, very, very fun. So there's loads more questions that I
Hype.
have for crafting, but we won't dive too deep into the crafting side today, because I think that's something that you guys are, from what I've read today, it's going to be an ongoing process.
That's a lot of great
We
info
won't
on
pick
crafting,
out
though, right there
specifics.
alone,
That
to be
was just
honest.
something that I think on Alpha 1, Alpha 2, that we've all kind of felt the burden of. I just saw floors littered with weapons, and everyone's like, "What do we do with them?" But yeah, no, it's
Just burn them.
That's really cool. A question about animal husbandry. Are you gonna? Is that something coming into the game? If it is, can you share any information about how you envision that coming to life within PaxCast?
Just Calamity is going to love the animal husbandry if they have it.
So yes, we do envision it. It's not on the immediate road ahead that we shared, just because we're not quite there yet. There are more important things
That
we
makes
want to
sense.
get to.
Yep.
But like when you were also just asking about kind of highlights from like developing the game, one thing that I was thinking of that relates to this is like in every iteration, like they're just, as a developer, you have to also just like play the game and like let the game kind of speak to you. And like one of the things that the game just, even though we always planned it, like it's immediately when you start playing the game, you're like, there are just some things that the game is kind of asking you for, and that is one of those games.
Yeah.
One of those things where like, of course, I want to have my chicken coop and like my pigs. I want to raise some pigs and I want to like breed horses, and so it is one of those things that is like, the game is always going to be kind of really calling for, and we plan to do it.
I look forward to when
it's
that is
something we think
implemented,
about,
though.
so.
That's going to be a lot of fun.
And
You have to breed your own animals.
and like how we'll do it, we don't have like detailed plans to share on it, but like at least one kind of one kind of high level goal here is that, like, if I'm growing crops, or if I'm building a house or blacksmith or whatever, like when I am offline, people can see it and experience it and come visit it. Like one of the trickier things here is probably going to be like make this kind of to follow that same route. So like if I am raising chickens, people should be able to like see my chickens when I go offline. So like we have to figure out kind of the economy.
Yeah, because it's all part of the real world, you know.
Around,
no
doing
instances.
animal husbandry, but also keeping the world alive when you're offline. So these are not things. These are not like magical mounts that kind of like disappear when you log off, but actual like entities in the game.
Oh, that's
Tyler
awesome.
says, "Don't you tell me we can have farm animals."
That's exactly what you want to see. I guess you have that trouble that you kind
I think
of have
we
that,
will be able to eventually.
realism factor to PAX Day, right? And everything that you have seen and experienced in real life, and you're like, oh, okay.
I think I misspoke. I said no instances, no personal instances. We covered that in the last PaxCast.
And have kind of, this fantasy to playing a game. You guys, you need to build this for us. That's the challenge you have. It's not easy. Talking about sort of entities staying within the world. Obviously, markets,
Tyler says they have a really good vision. I agree, 100%.
And that's one of the first things you guys are dropping in. And we know that's
what gives me so much faith in the game.
Trade with your market while you're not there, for example.
There we go. There's another answer.
I had was at the
They'll be able to trade with your market while you're not there.
4 different maps, for example, and a lot of the resources within these maps are relatively the same. If I'm on map 1 and you're on map 3, what would be the point in us trading with one another? How do you see the trading work? Is it large scale trading between, or maybe smaller clans trading with larger clans? How do you see the sort of markets coming to life within PAX?
We have a lot of we envision a lot of different markets to
Yeah.
actually emerge.
Mhm.
Surely there will be very big markets. There will hopefully be more than one, but as time goes on, there will be some very big and or focused markets will emerge. We yeah.
I guess it's quite
We're
difficult, sorry, because this is all player driven, right? A lot
exactly.
of what we're going to see is
Yeah.
you're offering the tools.
Yeah,
and
this
we're
is
gonna
your
see...
market. This is not our
Yeah.
market. We're just
Yeah.
we're just giving you the simplest tools for you to create your market.
Yep.
And
This is all going to be
we
emergent
don't want
gameplay,
to
pretty much.
design all of the friction away. We want and when I say friction, I just mean interesting problems for you to solve.
Mhm.
So we want to just give you tools so that you can actually set up a market with yourself or with your clan or in your village, and that market is going to operate quite locally. So people need to come visit the market to buy things and sell
I
things.
love that. That's
But
going to
yeah,
be
I mean,
so much fun.
I would envision that this will give people some players reasons to kind of game the market as well, kind of travel the world and sell and make money just like trading. So if I
Find
three
those
of
rare
us
materials,
might have
corner
our
the
hunting
market on
lodge
them.
somewhere in the mountain where we hunt, and we also collect steel, iron, and we smelt it, and then somebody comes here to buy potions to a nearby dungeon, or they might come and buy everything from us and sell it at a bigger market. It'll be a lot of we just have to kind of finish.
Yeah, but speaking to what you're kind of fishing for, Dana, is you kind of want to see a market asymmetry and trading between the difference. In the beginning, we're not going to have a lot of that because most of the stuff we have in the world is very crucial for just building houses and homesteads and stuff like this. But this is something we definitely envision moving forward. We want to have the architecture reflect the different regions and and having more bias, but it's not going to happen right away. Even that being said, it's still going to be very interesting market activity with the market hubs opening. You might even see a market activity between the zones just because some of the markets are
I'm really glad that we're getting the
much
markets
better,
really early
to
on.
operate. As you would see, you saw there's an even line quite a bit with emergent marketplaces, which are causing us massive headaches because everybody would fly there. That was because it was
Tyler says in the fact that they're being very transparent gives a lot of kudos. Yeah, exactly. Look at the day before. That was a shit show. Oh my gosh.
There's not a lot of asymmetry in the market, in the resources as of yet. There's some asymmetry within the regions, but not between them as is.
Okay.
No, there's not as
day
much,
before
not as much
should
as
not
we'd
even
like,
be
but then also
on the radar of this game.
the four regions
That was
in the game,
terrible.
the four heartland regions in the game right now, or provinces, are all part of the kind of the Gallia theme.
Yep.
When we start introducing more themes and an order, there will be much more
that's the reason to travel, right, and reason to trade.
Yeah, traveling to get those rare materials.
Already we'll see it happening because the amount of time it takes to level some professions. The larger clans might be able to feed some players, which
looks like the full game's going to be around 80 gigs
to people nearby, which is what you talk about already. And then there'll be other players that may spend a lot more time, like say hunting, and we're a larger clan and we can't be bothered to hunt anymore, so they'll bring all the stuff that we need, or we'll trade for that. So I can see it working already. It's just nice to see your vision and sort of they're talking about, let's call it a different biome in my layman's terms,
right?
With resources being able to be traded between those is really cool. That leads on to 1,000 other questions. I'll try and narrow it down. The main one for me really is I absolutely loved Red Dead Redemption when that came out, and it was a fun game. I mean, but what really shone for me was how their mounts worked with their carts, so like a horse and cart system. And the reason I'm bringing this up is talking about markets, talking about trading. If you're going from point A to point B at the moment, you can go there, fill your inventory, and then run back. And a lot of people are like, oh man, that's a long journey for an inventory. Do you have any plans for something like a horse and cart?
Please, here we go, guys.
If I do travel 2 hours because your map is amazingly big, how we could take more resources, or if we're doing a mining trip or something like this, is there any plans for something like that?
He's shaking his head yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
We'll leave it there.
yeah, like pre-alpha 1, we had prototypes for that, and it's always been part of kind of
Hell
the
yeah.
game. And
Cool.
I mean that's how it's one of the reasons why you have, like, you know,
Caravans
I
confirmed.
mean, we have roads that kind of cross that are pre-built in the game already, and that are kind of that's what they're kind of thought for.
Cool. I can see people in chat already asking for wheelbarrows and hand carts. People have this vision of like traveling back in time, you know, and role playing as a farmer or a, you know.
We haven't started building the carts yet, but they are on our extended roadmap, and yeah, very much needed.
That's cool.
The extended roadmap,
that's
so that means
like,
that they might
ticks
be a
lot of
little
boxes
wait.
if you have that sort of system in place, whether it's for PvP, you know, you're risking yourself in PvP, and you take a bigger set of resources.
That's what I was talking about in earlier streams as well, earlier PaxCast
create
episodes.
What a theme park MMO called like a caravan mission or whatever it may be. People are doing that themselves, and then you can set up ambushes, and then for the PvE, there's so much for that.
Templar
one,
says sweet. Yeah, I agree. This is gonna be awesome. I don't know when they're gonna come, obviously, but
can drive a lot of fun in PvE and PvP. So that's that's cool. That's
Hopefully
coming,
it's not
guys.
in
That's
production
exciting. I never knew I'd get so excited about a bloody horse and cart, but I know what content it can create. So I sound kind of crazy here, but no, that's really cool to know. My last kind of question that I had down before maybe we see if we get anything from chat was, as a pirate / Viking enjoyer, I love the show The Vikings. I want to role play as Ragnar and all of his guys. Is there any chance that we might see some sort of small boats that can go up and down?
Oh, here we go.
This again is obviously,
I've already seen people build boats
more than I should, but if you want to share something, that'd be really cool, because you have a lot of waterways. Maybe it won't be a quicker route, but I can imagine people just sitting in your game, just chilling down a river. You know, is that something that may happen?
You specifically only want small boats? Why do you say?
Well, I would like the Black Pearl or a massive pirate
The
ship
Black
with cannons,
Pearl.
but I think for theming wise, yeah, like a Viking ship or a small. You know, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Something like that fits so well within the world.
I mean, it was a reoccurring theme, and in all of our alphas, everybody's building a pier, and like
Yeah.
boats were being built. Like
Some people were making boats out of game
everybody's
objects,
building
like
a boat.
tiles.
So there is obviously a need for it. I mean, people want this. We want this, but it's not on our short-term plans. This is
Not on the
but
short
it's
term.
something
He
we
said.
obviously want. But, you know, even if it's just for like simple logistics, you know, it just feels so nice. Or if you can go on a boat and do some fishing, or you know, it's just it's amazing. But yeah, we just have so much.
Ooh, they could have different fishing spots
There's so much
that you need to get
add
on
into
a
your
boat and
list.
go out in the middle
There's
to have
no
the
accident
chance to
that,
get the better
like,
fish.
There's no accident that we have these large bodies of water, and we have these rivers that actually interconnect different provinces, because we it is something that we want. But yeah, don't know exactly.
Not on the
It's
short
really
term,
nice.
guys.
Like,
Don't get too
I think
excited.
I and lots of people. I'm trying to see what people are saying in chat as well. But I think a lot of us get the feeling that you guys have played games before, right? And that was kind of why I'm asking to start. What are you? You know, you know what you want.
My absolute favorite moment in Valheim was like after we had been playing for a long time, and we actually made like a massive boat, and we started sailing across the world, and I was just like, yeah, this is. And we were of course working on PaxCast Day at the time, and I'm like, yeah, this. People are going to be screaming for this. This is amazing.
The boats in Valheim are
it would be
unbelievably
absolutely
amazing, in my opinion. The way the waves work and the physics and all of it, it's amazing.
So, I mean,
if they can bring that
maybe
over,
chill for a
something
few
like
minutes,
that,
but
if that's their inspiration.
That's all the questions I had. If there's anything that you guys wanted to add on top of that before we go wild, and maybe try and find some questions from chat. But yeah, if there's anything you want to add, well, maybe guys in chat, if you've got any questions, fire them now, and we can try and ask the guys some. Yeah, is there anything you want to add?
Off the top of my head, not really. I am watching chat as well, and like, of course, after talking about ships and boats, people are also talking about fishing, which is not a surprise at all.
I saw a
It's
question about
also
instruments.
Something we love to get to.
Music would be cool.
There's a lot of questions about tomorrow. So guys, just go and check the Discord. All the timings and everything's on the Discord about launch tomorrow. So just jump onto the Discord for that sort of stuff. Any more weapon? I mean, we're only still getting used to them. But do you have any maybe 1 or 2 leaks, let's call it, of weapons that you want to add? Is there any more
what are we
weapons
gonna
that you're
get?
thinking about adding at this point?
Are they going
Or
to tell
is
us?
what we're getting at the moment? You can tell me no. This is like completely off off script, random questions.
Not this week or next week, but it will like new weapons and like spells and kind of gear to kind of that opens up like new ways to kind of new ways to kind of fit your character and like build your own kind of class and like.
So no specifics, but that's all right.
It's going to be there for first.
He's putting him on the spot here.
Larger expansion.
Yeah,
we'll talk more about that when we have.
Last interview, Dana didn't get to talk too much, so I'm glad that he gets to ask.
There's a great question here. I don't know if it's possible. My development knowledge is obviously bad. I can only just about get a stream running. But someone's horse has asked here: is there any visions for perhaps building inside the landscape that you've got? So I guess essentially it would be terraforming. I don't know if is that something that's possible within PAX Day? Building inside the question was any visions for maybe building inside a mountain or creating a mine/cave type of building?
I'm gonna think probably not. It's
So
outside the limitation of the engine.
Building a cave is extremely difficult from a technology standpoint.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
I didn't
because
think that was gonna be a thing.
the map of the world is two-dimensional top-down projection. So everything that goes inside something else, it's very difficult. That being said, we don't have plans for terraforming, but we know that Epic is working on major reworks for the landscape systems, which will allow for modifications of terrain. So we'll look at it once that drops, but that's not going to drop until 5.5. So we're talking about, maybe we'll do some serious terraforming over a year from now.
Templar says,
start looking at it. So don't get your
sea travel in
hopes up
Valheim is
high.
great. I agree.
What we will be doing is more looking into stuff like ability to build roads and being able to suppress grass and having like crops that hug the landscape and replace the grass and stuff like this. So we can have like feats of wild or vines and stuff like this over.
There you go for the farming and the roads.
And we kind of made the decision that we did not want to go the terraforming route, but rather focus on the social sandbox and the more stuff like this.
I think terraforming would have been too much for this game.
It's
to be
not
honest.
Minecraft. We have to draw the line somewhere.
I'd say for me, you just open up a whole can of worms. The landscape at the moment is amazing. If you
honestly,
start
terraforming's too
building
much.
through them or into them is crazy.
But maybe look at some Valheim style, stuff where you can, slightly adjust it. But it's like I said, this is not even on our long-term to-do list at the moment. So,
fun question: do either of you have maxed out skills or crafting yet?
Not in the preview week, but in a previous test.
Without cheating?
Without cheating, yes.
Without cheating.
Oh my
but not so much as some of our other colleagues, but yeah.
There's a question here about crafting. Do you have any? Will we be able to pull resources from chests? So when you're standing at the crafting station, instead of having it in,
that would be a nice feature.
Storage crafting rather than inventory crafting, right. I guess.
Yeah, that's a very popular request, and we're kind of we'll be considering it. I don't want to say yes or no right now, but we've noticed the request for it, and we'll consider it when it comes to kind of other kind of quality of life improvements we want to do for crafting.
That would be a really big quality of life.
Whatever we do, I would like the game to reward for people for like organizing their storage, kind of organizing their house really well. Yep. So they know where to find things and know where to put things. And if we can do that and at the same time offer some quality of life similar to this, that would be great.
Awesome. Yeah, it's also, I mean, with the inventory expansion we did now, it is actually quite a substantial increase in inventory space. I think that would alleviate a lot of the crafting woes, because currently we have so many ingredients that you have to for so much piece. I think that's one of the main reasons why people are asking for this specific feature.
that was also one of the ones that was straight bang down the middle.
It definitely
where
would
we had,
alleviate a lot of those
like
pressure
100
points.
people saying I love it as
Those
it
pain
is,
points.
whereas 100 people, maybe a bit like myself, a bit more casual, were like, actually, maybe pulling from the chest would be nice. I think there's a lot of ways to do it. You know, people suggested pulling from a you know, a small radius, or there's a box attached to the craft. This sort of thing, like you say, it's a big discussion, and I'm glad you guys.
Oh, that would be nice if they had a storage associated
also
with the
a lot of other
crafting
kind of quality of life that we want to do,
attached
like,
to the station.
allow you to kind of track, you know,
You could
some
upgrade it
recipes, like, if you,
independently.
like similar to like Satisfactory or like a quest tracker in a different MMO, where like, oh, I want to make 15 of these, like, oh, I want to make 15 chest pieces, and be able to like track that recipe and all the ingredients for it. So like when you're going to different crafters or to going somewhere else to build something, you can actually track your progress for it.
Yeah.
So you don't have to like remember everything, every single detail.
Amazing. We'll grab a couple more if you guys are all right with that. One of them's about the permission system. How do you?
Oh, here we go.
I mean, we talked briefly about this last time actually. How do you handle players leaving the clan or being kicked for, I don't know, code of conduct here, or, you know, not playing nice with their clan, and now you have a big red plot in the middle of your
Exactly.
settlement? Is there any plans to address that
We
initially,
need
or is
this
that
answer.
a work in progress?
When it comes to that specific case, we're not doing anything initially. Like, we do want to, like, in the future, we do want to get to a place where, like, if we have a clan of like 20 people who are like all playing really well, like playing together, and have trust. If somebody lapses from the game and didn't prepare anything, and like hand over their plot, like hand them over to else, we do want to make it as easy as possible for people in that clan to kind of take over that plot without.
I am going to catch up on chat here in a minute.
So we have, so like a clan, or like
I just don't want to talk over the devs.
Kind of, you know, their friends have like a first tips on doing that. We're not there yet, but that's basically where we want to go.
Nice.
But yeah,
I don't want to speak out of turn here, but
yeah,
I was gonna say, from my point of view, it's also a little bit. We're going through this now, right? We're keen to play the game. We've got a nice, you know, small community, and we have to put in a system that will hopefully avoid these things happening. This is the whole sandbox side of it, right? Like, if someone is, you know, not suitable, let's put it that way, and you have to get rid of them, it's a very difficult position you're in, and you're going to have to, at this point, deal with it. And I think what you're doing with the permission systems, and potentially, I don't know what the plan is, but maybe allowing people to build certain things or do certain things with the permission system, that then allows the players to open up this sandbox. And it's a very interesting way, and it's going to be very interesting to see how it all unfolds with all the different players and communities.
Yeah, I'm really concerned.
It is a tough nut to crack,
issue.
and there will be a lot of problems to deal with, and there's no perfect solution to this. But in this specific case, you can just wall him in.
Just wall them in.
Put them in a prison.
That's actually, you know, one of the cases we need to deal with. But, you know, you currently can actually do that. So, you know.
Tyler's talking about a lot of chests, making it look cluttered. I 100% agree.
We're going to see a lot of.
I don't like walls of chests.
Rise, especially with, you know, more.
I like
serious
natural
play,
storage.
In early access, you know. So, and
moreover, on the permission system, though, like we are working on like adding like a bit more granularity to it. Like, we want to get to a place where
that's what we need to hear.
You as a player, was like you develop, like, you have a relationship with people in your clan, you have like relationship with like other blacksmiths in the village, and then you have like some old kind of core crew of friends that you play with, and then you're like the soldier of some knight, and like you have like different groups that you have like different levels of trust with, and then like some guy just moved next door to you, and you started like working with him and sharing some stuff with him. Right now it's a bit like all or nothing, like you have to like share everything with the clan or nothing with the clan. So we're adding a bit more granularity to it, but we want to take.
That's going to really come in handy.
Actually, you have a pretty detailed kind of design spec for where we want to take that. But that's a very important. It's actually it's one of the more important things that we need.
It's very, very important.
Make better for like all of this kind of social emergence happening, where people are kind of developing trust in relationship with other people. So they can, absolutely. So they can,
Chat were loving that answer, Rainer, and I got my YouTube cover there Wall them in, says the dev. Honestly, it's the best thing to just see you guys like just humans, you know. There's so many times and so many games we play where you don't get to have this conversation. It's just bloody brilliant, man. People.
Templar says I get not having a preload on Steam. Just wish you could have a key already.
That's true. On the hour.
I wish I didn't do preload
so many
for
wiki questions.
any platform.
The last one, if that's all right, is a little bit about the content. I see 2 or 3 questions here about content. What's the kind of? I know we've got discussions around markets and nights, and it's definitely player-driven content for the grand scheme of things, but we definitely saw some hints of monsters or something, myths within some of your trailers. I saw one for sure. There's one ringing a bell in the distance through the woods. Is there anything you can share in terms of what your vision is? Not necessarily what specific you're doing, but the vision for filling these lands full of the content, you know, and what's the plan for bringing the lands to life with some content?
World bosses. Let's go world bosses.
The vision is, I mean, the idea of PAX Day is that, you know, if you live in the 13th century, I mean, you're living in a different reality. I mean, monsters are real. That's kind of the thinking. So it is a fantasy world by definition. You know, you live in a world which is highly unusual. Ghosts exist and magic is everywhere. And that is kind of the reality we're kind of reflecting. So it is a fantasy game, but it's kind of rooted in reality. And our vision for it is, you know, we want to fill basically it's the idea of the Odyssey. The Odyssey is, you know, the further away from home you go, you know, the stranger things become. And that's kind of what we want to reflect. And we also want to use, you know, when night falls, you know, the evil comes out to play and stuff like this. Deeper the dungeons, the you know.
Dragons.
What we're working on is it's not really a super high fantasy where everything is like, you know, in your face and, you know, the towns are filled with, like, you know, something with pink particle systems. This is more, you know, hitting the darkness and under the layers of discovery. So that is basically what we're working on now, is that and tying it into the lore of the world and the mysteries of the world itself. So, and you will, you know, unravel what's happening and why the stuff is there. There is a grand story behind all of this, and this is for the players to discover, because it also aids them in the, you know, in the goal of, you know, playing the game. Learning about the lore also helps you in
absolutely
in playing the game.
Yeah, it keeps you hooked. Absolutely, it does.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah, so we're very excited about this. We currently have it's very shallow on this, and we're mostly doing humanoids. But you're gonna see something coming along the way, and of course, you know, before launch, we're gonna see stuff dropping. I'm not promising.
Hell yeah, monsters coming soon.
No, amazing. No, I know from watching you guys, it looks like it's bright, sunny outside, but I know where you are in the world. Like, I think at this point the sun doesn't set, so I know it's quite late for both for all of us. Is there anything you want to say for the guys that are guys and girls that
final
are
thoughts coming from the devs right now
into your game, into early access for the next? You know, for tomorrow, essentially. Is there any last words?
I see more people in his chat. Add musical instruments.
I would love to say just, you know, thank you for believing in us, and I hope, you know, we will do our best to earn your trust. I mean, this is the game that we've been trying to make or want to make for, you know, for almost all our lives, and I hope you know, it's very encouraging for us to see you sharing the stream, and, you know, it's just, you know, yeah.
These guys are
amazing.
genuine.
So
you can
thank
just
you so
tell.
much.
Yeah, Sam.
They're so genuine.
Exactly. Like, just thank you so much for believing in this game and like joining on this journey. Like, it's gonna be wild tomorrow. I can't wait.
Tomorrow's gonna be crazy.
Oh, we're ready. People are really ready. No, guys, thank you very much for your time. Appreciate you both very much, and everyone in chat now. If there's anything you want to say, the guys have been looking over to chat, and the last things from me really. If the visual's been bad, forgive me. The wind is blowing away my internet in the van, and again with the ads, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna look into it and see if I can just turn it off. But it's an automated thing. It just happens like 3-4 minutes an hour or something. So thank you both very, very much. We'll post this on YouTube as well. But yeah, have an awesome day tomorrow. I know this is like a long time coming, so enjoy tomorrow and enjoy the next few months. And I'll try and hassle you maybe in a couple months' time and see how things are going. If you're, you're both still alive and kicking after.
All right, that wraps up the dev interview. Thank you again, Danae TV, for getting that interview with the devs. I'm going to be trying to get some interviews with the devs, but my channel's probably not big enough for them to really care about coming onto the show yet. I still don't have a face cam set up or anything like that. So we're going to be working all this stuff as we grow the channel and as we experience PAX Day live together starting tomorrow, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time in the US. We have our ranks still up on screen. If anybody has any last minute questions about ranks or anything about the clan, how we're going to coordinate tomorrow morning to get all this rolling. Anybody who's wanting to take part with us, who's in the clan and wants to be there on the ground day one with us, we're going to be setting up really quick, as fast as we possibly can. It was really great to hear from the devs and see a little bit more. We didn't get too much out of them, but seeing a little bit more insight behind their inspirations into the game, where they're pulling some ideas from, and some of their ideas going forward, such as these. Right now, they're talking about how they mostly have humanoids, but they're going to be bringing some mystical creatures and stuff like that. It was really great to hear from the devs. Thank you again, Mainframe, for doing these interviews, and thanks, Danae TV, for getting the interviews all set up and taking care of all that. Jason says, awesome. Thank you, Void. See you in the morning. Yeah, I will definitely be on in the morning. I'm going to be doing a little bit of a pre-stream again. For anyone who is just tuning in, I'm going to be doing a pre-stream tomorrow, getting ready to play the game. We're just going to be chilling. I'm not going to be talking as much because I'm not going to have too much to talk about unless chat's active, but it's going to be more of a relaxed stream while we get ready and let the game download and all of this. But one final thing, one reiteration. Thank you for all the subscribers. Anyone who has not liked yet on the video, please like the video, share it with your friends, get the word out there about the Order of the Blood Brothers and the Inner Sleuths and PAX Day at that. We're going to have a lot of fun playing together. Tyler says, very glad I came across your channel. Nice, chill vibes. Thanks. Oh, thank you very much, Tyler. I really appreciate that. Yeah, that's the environment we try to have here. It's very relaxed, very chill. I try not to step on anybody's toes. Hopefully Danae doesn't get mad, but I just trying to bring that information to the widest group possible. But yeah, our whole clan is going to have the same vibes as you see here on the channel, just very, very chill, very relaxed, minimal drama, and we're just going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be tons of fun tomorrow. But for anybody who's wanting to join us, very easy to join. Just join our Discord. You'll find links over to the website. Go to PAX Day Blood Brothers. And in here, you'll see our clan application template. Copy that, make your own post. I have 2 applications to get through here. Templar says, see you in the morning. Yeah, Templar, thanks for tuning in. We will see you in the morning. I got to get some food. I haven't really eaten anything yet today, and it's going after 3 p.m. So I got to get some food in me. That went a lot longer than I thought. The stream's pushing 3 hours now at this point, but we're going to be streaming for a very, very long time tomorrow. We're probably going to have intermissions throughout it for bathroom breaks and getting food and stuff like that, but we're going to have a blast. Anybody who wants to join, please consider joining the Order of the Blood Brothers. I'm going to be putting the creed together and the oath together a little bit later on today after I get some food in me. But barring any final questions or concerns about our ranks or anything clan or game related, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up so that we can get our alarms set for tomorrow morning. But I'm really glad that the devs gave us a little more insight into some of the things that they're going to be working on first and foremost. I mean, that the road system, really great to hear that we're going to have a road system and that there's not going to be terraforming. Terraforming would be too much for this game, in my opinion. I think you can have minor terraforming, such as flattening of land for like farms and stuff, but it has to be very minute, maybe like a sponge layer on top of the ground. I don't know how they would do it, but I'm glad there's not terraforming because I'm already worried about there being too much in the way of immersion shattering builds and stuff like that. Because everyone's going to have a different build style, right? So you're going to be walking around and see, oh, that looks like a log cabin. Oh, that looks like a castle. And that kind of makes sense as long as they flow together in the world. But when people start building oddly shaped things, it's a early access, so they kind of have to do that to test the system and stress it and find out what you should and should not be able to produce. I thought the structural integrity needed to be a little more strict, because I saw some very skinny based towers that went up to the top where it was very wide and bulbous, and it was like, how is this thing standing up? So it'll be interesting to see how that unfolds as time goes on. But yeah, it's really great to hear that we're going to have road systems and stuff. Kind of concerning that they don't have anything in place. I'm sure they have to have some ideas on how they can alleviate a clan member being kicked out or leaving and they have their plot in the middle of your territory. I mean, he just said wall them in. I'm hoping we don't have to do that. I'm going to try and do the bulk of the building for the most important places on my plots and some of the other sleuths' plots. We're going to have several plots between all of the sleuths, the inner working circles of the inner sleuths. So I'm going to be using those plots for the important areas. And then for the common areas, we're going to figure out how we're going to allow people to be able to use their own individual plots to fill in the gaps and have their own shops on their plots in the common market area. But we had a lot of really good answers from them. We looked over the roadmap. We read through their part 2 of their vision for PAX Day. I think we just about covered it all. We're going to be fleshing out the Blood Brothers, the Order of the Blood Brothers, as we go forward. Again, I'm going to go get some food, and I'm going to work on the Oath and the Creed for our clan. Make sure you guys join the Discord. Get active on there. Keep the hype train rolling for tomorrow. I will see you guys in the morning. I'll be on Discord, so if you have something you want to say or if you want to chat about stuff or coordinate, just do that in the PAX Day room over there on Discord. But other than that, I will see you guys in the morning. Thanks for tuning in for this very long stream. And tomorrow, it all begins. Bye for now, guys. Take care.